Is that supposed to be a bad thing?
Hello, everybody. Welcome this afternoon to the Greyhawk channel. I am so excited that you're all here, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. I use he, him pronouns, and I am so excited and honored to be kicking off the Greyhawk channel's spring season today with this, our first session of the Brenton Files, Myths and Monsters. I've got a super phenomenal crew of players, and I am so stoked to get started telling this story with them. And speaking of them, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are here today. So why don't we go around and introduce the players and who you're playing and all of that good stuff. Let's start with Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. My pronouns are he, him. I am playing Merrick, and their pronouns are they, them. Merrick is a tiefling conjurer wizard person.
I love it. All right, let's hop to the other side with Alicia.
Hey, I'm Alicia. My character's name is Lambo Rathul, who is an Earth Genasi sorcerer. My pronouns are she, her, and her pronouns are also she, her.
Fantastic. And last but most certainly not least this week, Ismail.
Thank you. Yes, my pronouns are he, him. My name is Ismael Alvarez. Thank you for pronouncing it.
I'm with
correctly. And my character's name is Zephyr Stewart. He is a half-elf bard.
Fantastic. All right, so that is our crew for today. We do have at least one and possibly two other players who are not able to be with us this week, but they will be jumping in next week in some undoubtedly dramatic fashion. Before we get too deep into the story and really kick things off, I want to quickly shout out to some of the awesome sponsors and supporters that we have here on the Greyhawk channel. We could not do what we do here on Greyhawk channel without them. So first and foremost, we want to thank all of you who have either subscribed to the Twitch channel here and or joined our Patreon at patreon.com/thegreyhawk channel. We so appreciate your support of everything that we do here on the channel. Next, we want to thank Roll20. We won't be using their virtual tabletop system today on this show, though we may end up using it in future sessions. But in general, the Greyhawk channel is officially supported by Roll20, the world's leading virtual tabletop system. You can try out their services for free at roll20.net. We also have an official battle map sponsor. Heroic Maps has more than 300 maps available on DriveThruRPG, so you can check those out there. We are also sponsored by Tabletop Loot. You can go to tabletoploot.com and use the coupon code GREYHAWK to get 15% off of your dice order. That's Greyhawk for 15% off your order at tabletoploot.com. And last but most certainly not least, we want to thank Devin Rue and Cantrip Candles for both of their support. Our Patreon supporters and our Twitch subscribers get access to some exclusive coupon codes to use on those websites in the private supporter channel of our Discord. But anyone can go check out everything that they have available at their respective websites. Rue Inc., that's RUEINK.com, and CantripCandles.com. Couple more housekeeping things really quickly since we are at the start of a brand new Greyhawk channel season. We have a couple of bars at the bottom down there of the overlay that you all might have noticed. We have got a spring follower goal, a season follower goal of 400 new followers, and it looks like we are already at 12, so that's exciting. So if you haven't yet, go to the top of the Twitch screen browser thingy here and hit the little heart button so that you can follow us. I will wait. Yep, just up there. Hit the that's follow. No, that's subscribe. You're also welcome to subscribe, but it's the one to the left. There you go. All right. Also, there is a stream boss. I don't actually know what that is, but it looks like they're almost dead. Full disclosure, I'm brand new to the Greyhawk channel, so y'all veteran viewers are going to have to walk me through some of the finer points of some of this stuff. But there's a stream boss there. Kill it. I don't know. And finally, on the far right of the screen, we have our Divine Inspiration bar. All the bits that you donate during our stream will go towards filling up that bar, and once it gets filled up, some cool stuff and perks happen for the players and their characters. So that is, I think, all of the housekeeping that we have. Are y'all ready to get started? Because I am.
No, but next week.
Okay, look. Look, you.
Great.
It would have been funnier if I hadn't gotten word about an hour ago that one of our players was not going to arrive. So, that was a big noise that I just got, and I don't actually know what it means.
Hey, thank you for the cheers and the subscription.
Yes, that. Amazing. Oh, it was Kevin. Kevin Hit is my DM for an awesome game over on Encounter Roleplay. Thank you so much, Kevin. That was so nice of you. Well, it looks like we've hit our Divine Favor goal. I'm going to look up what that means a little later. but I do want to start this game, so we're going to do that right now. Thanks, Kevin. That was awesome of you. Thank you so much. So, our players and their characters, Merrick, I'm going to get these right, Merrick, Zephyr, and Lambeau. Did I get those right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are all members of an organization called the Soldiers of Acheron. This organization is a group of monster hunters and also sort of paranormal investigators, as it were. Set here in the world of Greyhawk, they go out and are, detectives and monster hunters for hire. They investigate strange goings-on and deal with it as necessary. They do it across the world of Greyhawk. They're not super well known, but they are effective. And this group is sort of the motley crew of the Soldiers of Acheron. They were each, and we'll learn a little bit more about this as we go, but they were each, for one reason or another, put on temporary suspension within the organization for behavior unbecoming of the company. And just yesterday, the organization finally figured out what to do with them. A request came in for an investigation and possible hunt set back in a little backwater town named Brenton. The higher-ups in the organization did some research and discovered that Brenton is a pretty small little farming town out in the middle of nowhere. Not a lot has ever happened there. Couldn't find any real records of any big goings-on, so this seemed like a pretty safe way to keep these three on the payroll, but sort of out to where they can't do any more damage. So they were sent out to Brenton, where they arrived just earlier today. They were told that they were going to be set up with a headquarters there, although once they arrived in the city, there was no contact there for them, and sort of nobody knew what they were talking about. So the innkeep in town at the Aging Pony, which is the tavern and inn in town, sort of took pity on them and provided them with rooms for the night, and sort of said, things will be simpler in the light of day. You can figure out what you're gonna do when the sun comes up. So that is where we find our adventurers as they are all settling down into their rooms. There were plenty of vacancies, so actually each of you has your own room if you would like it in this inn. And yeah, that's where we're starting. So do any of you have any interesting nighttime rituals that we should know about, just to get a bit of flavor and get to know your characters a little bit before we get too far in?
Well, nighttime ritual, Lambeau, no matter where she is, likes to look nice, and has these specialized earthen rollers for her hair gems that she uses. You don't know how the stones bend, but they do. So she makes sure to curl her entire headstone, and before she goes to sleep.
I love that. Anybody else? You don't have to if you have something.
Merrick, among studying their spells from their spell book, also has their familiar, a fiendish crow by the name of Lazarus that they like to groom as they go to sleep.
Well, Lazarus likes it too. He gets rather uppity if he doesn't get his nighttime grooming.
And he likes to cuddle too, so.
Aww. Okay. Zephyr, anything we should know about?
Zephyr just prefers to be playing some manner of instrument, basically playing his own lullaby.
Oh, I love that. Right, you're a bard. I have to remember that. Excellent. All right. So the three of you have your nighttime rituals. It's just weird, right? Like, you knew from the get-go that you were sort of being sent out here under not awesome circumstances, but you figured at least they would have somebody waiting for you to, like, fill you in on what was going on. But so it goes. Things will look better in the morning. So you all go and finish your rituals, head to sleep. Fortunately, none of you are full elves, so I don't have to deal with the 4-hour reverie nonsense. Sleep comes more quickly or more slowly, depending on how comfortable you are in inns and taverns. It's perfectly serviceable. Not the nicest place you've ever stayed, but certainly not the worst. And I need each of you to make me Constitution saving throws, please. to start off this game right.
We love that.
We do. I'm a big fan of it. So let's start with Zephyr. What'd you get? Oops. Oh. Yeah. Wait, I heard a thing in Roll20 because I do. Yes, I do have a Roll20 up. So everyone knows, for the great music that you're hearing, the creepy music that you're hearing, that's through Roll20 as well. All right, so it looks like Lambeau got a natural 20 with a 24. Zephyr,
Nice.
what'd you get?
A 19.
A 19. Excellent. And how about you, Merrick?
A 5.
Good. All right, so Lambeau sleeps like an absolute baby. You don't remember if you had dreams because you were so deeply asleep that, like, you wake up, you feel refreshed. It is delightful. Why don't you go ahead and make me, Lambeau, while I'm getting to the other two, why don't you go ahead and also make me a wisdom perception check. Zephyr, you also, you sleep through the night, no problems. You do wake up, though, with some remembering some strange dreams that you had. They weren't super pleasant, but the visions of them are fuzzy at this point. The only thing you do remember is you remember seeing a large, menacing house on the hill, and it was, you think about it, and in the light of day, or at least the light of the pre-dawn morning, which is what it is right now, it's almost sort of funny that, like, it was scary in the dream because it's so sort of stereotypical, like the big dark house on the hill with all the shadows. but there was something legitimately creepy about it. Why don't you go ahead and also make me a wisdom perception check, and I'll get back to the two of you shortly. Oh, Merrick, you didn't sleep a wink. Every time you drifted off, it felt like you immediately fell into awful nightmares. You don't remember a lot of the details of them either, but you get glimpses, or you would catch glimpses as you would start awake from these nightmares. You remember one where there was just an old man in a dark cloak and cowl, and he was standing across a field from you, and you would blink and he would be closer, and you'd blink again and he would get closer, and if you tried to run from him, he would always end up in front of you. And then another one from later on in the evening, you just remember heat and looking around and being encircled by violet flames. And as you sort of took stock of what was around you, you saw in the middle of the flames off to one side a young girl who was standing, not burning, but standing in the fire and smiling and looking directly at you. Why don't you go ahead and make me a wisdom perception check as well? Alicia, what was your wisdom perception check?
It was 16.
16, all right. And Zephyr?
I got a nice rounded 20.
Hey,
a dirty
look at that. And last but not least, Merrick.
Well,
Oh, good.
I'm doing great so far.
Great. I should also, as if this weren't unfortunate enough, I should also mention, Merrick, that since you didn't sleep at all last night, you do have 1 level of exhaustion, which of course means that you have disadvantage on your ability checks. So go ahead and roll that again with disadvantage now. Not that a 12 was thrillingly great either, but...
I'm going to change this dice, but it was a natural 1.
Oh.
This is going back in the bag
so
for
you
today.
Really, you startle, what was the raven's name? I'm so sorry.
Lazarus.
I knew it was an L. Lazarus. You startle Lazarus, who sort of indignantly squawks and goes and perches on a corner of the bed. And you just, through the sound of your own harsh breathing, you don't really hear anything. Zephyr and Lambeau, however, you do hear something, and you look out the windows in your room and you realize that it's earlier than you usually wake up. It's still mostly dark out. You can just barely see a tiny bit of light beginning to crest over the horizon, and something must have woken you up, and you both sort of sit still for a moment and listen, and you both hear whispering, and it sounds like maybe it's coming from the room next to you, but if you walk over to the wall where you think it's coming from, it's suddenly coming from the other side of the room. And so you go maybe to the window and see if it's someone outside, but then it sounds like it's coming from the door to your room. Both of you can just make out voices, though only Zephyr can really hear or understand a few of the words and phrases that the voices are saying. The voices are saying things like, "Help. Save us. He comes."
Zephyr takes a moment to stop clucking his tongue and writing in his dream journal to try and figure out what this means. But
Definitely.
he puts it out of his head for a moment and resolves to tell his compatriots at the breakfast table.
Great. Lambeau, anything?
Because she couldn't actually hear what they were saying proper, just the
Yeah.
voices. So
Yeah.
I think she'd while she's trying to figure out, she's just unrolling the hair, and eventually after that time, she'd probably go downstairs to meet because we know the rest of our group is here. We're
Oh,
just
yeah.
not. Okay,
Yeah.
go downstairs to congregate with the others.
Okay, great. So you want to head downstairs. Zephyr, it sounds like you also wanted to head down to the breakfast table,
Yes.
yeah? How about you, Merrick?
I feel like Merrick was already down there after
Sure.
not getting enough sleep, and
Sure.
they just decided to go and sit and see if anyone else was down there.
Great. There were, some of the staff of the inn. It's a decent-sized inn, even though it's mostly empty. But there were some staff that were sort of starting the morning routines. Getting the porridge cooked up, getting the coffee water. Aw, thanks for the cheer, opera geek. Hi, Kelly. Getting things set up. So they're happy to bring Merrick, coffee while they get things set up and things like that. And the other two of you come down, and you find Merrick. They don't look too rested. They don't look too great sitting at the table with a hot steaming mug in their hands.
This place is shit.
I was about to bid you a good morn, but more's the pity. What was the cause of your trouble last night?
I just said it. This place is shit.
Now that's not very nice. This is a very lovely establishment. I've had one of the best sleeps ever here.
You notice the serving guy that brought your coffee over had sort of bristled at your comment, Merrick, and smiles and nods at Lambeau's compliment of the establishment.
Now, Merrick, I could offer you a short sleep if you have about 10 minutes to spare.
I'll make it through the day.
Very well. The
Hopefully.
offer is on the table.
Thank you. I'll just drink my coffee and do my best not to cut off anyone's head or anything else.
The long-suffering wizard. Good grief. I love it.
You woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I do not understand.
I didn't wake up at
admit-
all, actually.
Oh. Well, you should try sleeping sometime. I do admit that I woke up a little earlier than usual because of some voices. I don't know if you heard. Well, I suppose you were already awake. Did you hear any voices, Merrick?
Well, I did hear some voices, and they seem to have been calling for help. I couldn't say what or where they were coming from, but I believe it was some manner of premonition. If you heard them as well, I wonder what is calling for us, and if perhaps this is the reason we've been sent here.
I don't rightly know, but that does seem odd. And odd is our job, I suppose.
Indeed.
I heard the wind. And now I'm hearing you guys talk nonsense, but I suppose.
Lambeau and Zephyr, you both actually, now that you have sort of mentioned that you both heard something, you take a moment and you realize that for a moment you'd sort of forgotten about the whispers just because of the bustle of going downstairs and having, porridge and coffee brought over to you all. But if you sit quietly for a moment, the whispers are definitely still there. You can definitely still hear them, just as clear as you could up in your room. But now they do seem to be coming from somewhere beyond the front door of the Aging Pony.
Zephyr will look at whoever is running the establishment and ask, Do you hear those noises? Do you hear the voices?
The serving guy that brought you all your food and your coffee is sort of standing there near the table, and he looks confused for a moment, particularly at "Do you hear those voices?" And he says, "No, I don't. Do you need assistance of some sort? Are you okay?"
My apologies. We've had quite a long journey, and I know that this is perhaps just a middling symptom of road fatigue. But don't mind our comments. We experience this all the time. We are quite a mobile group of people.
He says, "Well, I certainly understand that. We've had our share of wary travelers here in the Aging Pony. You all just let me know if you need more coffee. That'll set you right up."
Oh, thank you, sir.
You have some tea, perhaps. I would prefer that. I find coffee to be a little bit too strong for my taste.
Of course. I'll bring it right out. And he goes back and rustles up some tea for you.
Zephyr, when he gets it, he just holds it like very kind of covetously.
I love it.
So voices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It seemed like they were all over my room at first, but now they seem like they're coming from outside. I'm gonna guess this is definitely arcane in nature.
Well, that seems to be our specialty. Um, I guess we should try to do something about it in this place.
You are
I'm
such
sorry.
a cheerful personality.
I should really work on that. Thank you. But the things keep adding up. First, we get sent here. Second of all, they don't know that we're getting sent here. Third of all, I can't sleep. And fourth, this coffee tastes like dirt. So here I am. I'm cranky. Let's go.
Every
What's wrong
time.
with a little dirt in your coffee? I don't understand.
Also,
I
that
thought
every
coffee was
time you
supposed
shit
to
on the Aging
taste like
Pony
dirt.
happens to be when that server is walking by your just every time. And
Merrick just smiles, just very. I'm sorry that your place is awful.
it was directly to him this time, and he just doesn't know how to respond. So he like sets down Zephyr's tea and like walks away.
I'm sorry.
Zephyr's quietly hoping
they're
that his
just-
doesn't spat in.
So as you all are sort of sitting there, it creeps up so slowly that you don't really notice it until it's increased significantly. But Zephyr and Lambeau, the whispers are definitely getting louder. Lambeau, you still can't really make out what they're saying, but the sort of soft, susurrus whispering is getting louder.
Am I starting to hear them or no?
No.
Oh,
Well, if my dream last night was any indication, I would say that we are being led by these voices, these sounds, to the large house on the hill. However we wish to, or whenever we wish to approach it, I would leave to you two.
well, I mean, there's no time like the present, and who knows when our lovely companion, cheerful as they are, will fall over from exhaustion.
I thought your mission was to uplift my mood, not to make it worse.
My mission is to settle arcane matters. It's your mission to make yourself a better person.
Perhaps she was thinking that if we pushed you far enough into the other side, you'd come out to cheerful again.
Perhaps some work will make me a little happier. No one likes an idle mind.
So
Well, then
off
let's-
to the house we go. I guess.
I guess.
As
She didn't have the dream, so she's
Right,
like,
right.
that's the house.
Merrick just stands up, and as they're walking away, they like reach into their pocket, and they use the minor conjuration to conjure a gold piece and just leave it on the counter for the owner.
You're the worst.
It disappears in an
I
hour.
was gonna say, doesn't that go away? Yeah, you're the worst.
Lambeau did tip extra to make up for Mary.
Great.
It's a gold piece.
real-
What do you
Oh.
mean? That is
She was
plenty.
going to tip extra anyway.
Yeah.
You're still welcome to do that.
Yeah. Oh man. Great. I love it. Okay, so out. You finish up your coffee and tea and porridge. Wow, I put all of those words into one. Your
Our porridge?
Your porridge-y, whatever. So you finish all that and head outside.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Ye-
It's louder outside, you two. and it definitely has a direction. You all got to Brenton from the east yesterday, and the whispering is definitely coming from somewhere in sort of the northwest of the town. You don't see the source of it, but it's definitely coming from a very specific direction.
You're the ones that hear the voices, so lead us, why don't you?
Zephyr wants to do one last thing and
Yeah.
pokes his head back into the inn and finds the server and kind of finds them and grabs their hands and says, "Trials and tribulations are the foundation of strength.
Oh.
Please be strong." And he will actually use a bardic inspiration on the server.
Aww.
But then he'll pop right back out and say, "Very well, to the manor. Let us make haste."
He's gonna have such a good day.
Lambo will follow, since you can tell what the voices are saying.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I shouldn't assume, I suppose, Merrick.
I'm following.
Okay. All right, so you head towards the northwest. The most of the town of Brenton is built in sort of the valley between these two hills. It's a decent sized town. It's certainly not a large city, but it's also not, like a two horse hamlet or anything like that. There are very clearly, plenty of residential houses. The inn that you were in was fairly nice and decent sized. You catch a whiff of what is clearly a tanner's somewhere along the road. There's a blacksmith that you hear the ringing of metal coming from. You can see sort of out in the distance, you passed actually through a lot of the farmland that you assume is part of Brenton when you were coming in from the east. You see the town hall, which is sort of in the center of town, that's surrounded by a big open market area. There are only a few merchants that are out right now sort of setting up their stalls. It is still pretty early. You can also see further down to the south is a fairly large gated cemetery for the town. But you all at this point are headed northwest, which is sort of directly towards the peak of one of the hills that sort of defines the borders of Brenton. And as you get a little bit closer and are able to sort of see past some of the trees that were in your way back at the tavern, Zephyr, you see a, version of the house that you dreamt about last night on the top of the hill. And it's not nearly so sort of stereotypically ominous, but it does have, it is dark. It does look abandoned. There are no lights coming from any of the windows anywhere in the house. And that is sort of the direction that the whispers seem to be leading you all in. And without objection, on you go, sort of towards that area. As you get a little bit closer, you see a path that's going to lead you up the hill. The woods on the sides of the hill are pretty dense. You are more than welcome to sort of rough it and make your way through off of the path, but it will definitely be slow going. The underbrush is pretty dense. The trees are actually surprisingly densely packed. But there does seem to be a path, a sort of naturally worn path that you all can follow up. And as you begin following it up, it twists and turns and sort of has switchbacks, and it's definitely not a direct route up the hill. It takes you some time to get through this path. As you get deeper and deeper onto the path and up the hill, the canopy of trees blocks out pretty much any light that the slowly coming dawn is spreading over the town of Brenton. So it's very dark here under the trees. Are any of you proficient in either nature or survival?
I am proficient in survival.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
I'm half proficient.
Oh, you did the jack of all trades. You do. That is probably actually enough for you both, for Merrick and Zephyr, to, all of you sense that this is creepy, but the two of you in particular can tell that something is off. Something about the trees doesn't seem entirely natural. there is a darkness under this canopy that can't be explained simply by, the dense covering of the tree leaves and things and branches and things like that. And the deeper you get onto this trail, the more that feeling intensifies for the two of you. We're going to start with Alicia. Will you just roll me a flat d20, please?
Sure thing. Flat D20. 14.
Alrighty. So about 20 minutes go by of you all going up this path, and you can tell that you're making ground, but it is certainly taking a while. The sounds of wildlife, by the time you're about 20 minutes in, the sounds of wildlife on this hill and in these woods are pretty much non-existent. Every now and again a breeze will rustle through the branches and the leaves, but in terms of birds chirping, which, it's getting on dawn now, they should be waking up and making noise, and there just isn't any of that at this point. Kyle, will you roll me a flat d20 next, please?
Continuing the trend, it's 4.
Amazing. So the next 20 minutes going up this hill are more of the same. You start to, some of you can you were proficient in survival, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you actually start to sort of actively look for wildlife, anything, right? Bugs or small, like, rabbits or squirrels or something. And you just don't catch sight of anything going up, and the quiet and the darkness is beginning to get a little oppressive as you make your way up this hill. Ismail, last but not least, give us a flat d20, please. All right. So, finally, at the end of an hour, you make it up towards the very top of this hill. And let me have the three of you make wisdom perception checks, please, for me.
Whoa.
Let's see, that's a 12, all right. And a 13 for Lambeau, and
a 16.
A 16. Okay, so Merrick, you, as you're getting to the top of this hill, you can all see that about 300 feet from the top of the hill or so, the woods just sort of end. The very top of this hill is completely empty of trees, and the woods seem to end in a perfect circle. Another, hint that something is very off here. Merrick, you are sort of keeping an eye out and looking around, and you do catch sight of, finally, some movement in the trees just as you're about to the top of the hill, and it looks like some sort of wolf, but the wolf is the fur is missing in patches and is discolored in other patches, and it sort of turns to look at you all, and its eyes sort of flash an eerie green color, and then the wolf just takes off deeper into the woods, and you quickly lose sight of it. But you reach the top of this hill, and like I said, the trees end about 300 feet from the apex. There's a cool breeze blowing across the area, rustling through the last remaining trees of the woods. And there in the center of the top of the hill stands a 2-story house, pretty large and definitely more elegant than most of the buildings that you saw down in Brenton proper. And you do notice, now that you're a bit closer, you do notice that one of the windows on the top floor is emitting a strange soft blue glow, but that's the only illumination that you see coming from the house at all.
Well, creepy seems to be getting creepier and disconcerting. Anyone have a game plan?
Go in and figure out what the light is.
That seems dangerous and ill thought out. Good job. Anything from you, Zephyr?
Well, I suppose if we had any way of perhaps climbing up a tree and getting a better look inside, then we wouldn't have to risk ourselves in whatever may happen, or be aware of us within the house itself.
Okay, great. I'm gonna send Lazarus up and look in the window,
Oh yes,
and
the
we'll
big
go from
bird. I
there.
forgot about him.
And I'm gonna just like throw Lazarus.
Poor bird.
Oh,
Yeet him out the window.
yikes.
No, I'm just
I feel like he's probably used to it, right? Like you've done
no,
this.
I don't actually do that.
Oh,
He
okay.
like he'll like to actually take off on his own.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't know. We're still getting to know you all.
Just throw him like a baseball through the window.
All right, so yeah, he absolutely Lazarus can absolutely fly up towards that window.
And I'm gonna look through his eyes and see what's going on.
Look through his eyes. Looking into the window, you see a burned out shell of what looks like it probably used to be a large bedroom. But it clearly has seen some fire. The remains of the bed in the corner are charred. There's just smoke stains everywhere. There are actually, you can see where like parts of the walls have been eaten away by the fire. The blue glow seems to be coming from a far corner of the room, but you can't quite see, or Lazarus can't quite see what is emitting the glow, just that it's coming from a far corner of the room.
Can he like perch on the windowsill and start pecking at the window?
Yeah. Is like, how hard are we talking? Is the pecking happening? Is he trying to break it or just get somebody's attention?
He's trying to see if anyone notices and
Okay.
looks at.
Yeah. Tap, 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 and you give a few moments for anybody that's up there to respond, but nothing moves inside the house. Nothing comes towards Lazarus.
Okay. I'll like teleport him back and relay that information to everyone else. So maybe Lambo's idea will be the best idea to go in and actually see what's going on.
Well, thank you for that kind compliment.
I do give credit where credit is due.
Well, I think we've got a pretty plain road ahead of us. Let us make our way in. Who is most confident to go in front? I will do so if neither of you are. I will take that as my answer.
Not all at once, y'all. You can't all go in front. I need us to take turns speaking.
Merrick takes a
You know-
step back at that point.
You know what? It was Lambo's idea, so she will go first.
Okay, great.
Definitely goes.
Great, I love that. So you all head up, Lambo in the lead, head up to the front of the house. As you approach, you can see a little bit more detail, and despite what Merrick said they saw inside the house, that it was a burned out shell, that there was clearly fire damage, the outside looks remarkably well maintained. There are all of the windows, you sort of, as you get closer, you can see there are a couple of windows on this front side. You can see the window sills from windows on either of the two sides of the house. And the window panes themselves look pristine, as though they'd just been freshly washed. There are 3 steps that sort of lead up to a porch that leads to the front door, and all of the steps are sturdy and free of dust and dirt. Look like they've been recently swept. The front porch itself sort of spans the whole front side of the house and is equally swept and pristine. The front door itself is sort of an odd, large wooden affair that has a bronze knocker in the center, but doesn't seem to have a door handle anywhere on it. And just below the knocker is a little piece of parchment that looks like it's been sort of stuck somehow to the door. And as you all sort of get closer to the house, you do notice that despite the pristine look, you all 3 of you catch a whiff of wood smoke coming from the house. You also notice there are a couple of chimneys. There are actually 2 chimneys on the roof of the house, and neither of them were emitting any smoke. So you're not really sure where the smell is coming from.
This house seems to get odder and odder as we get closer and closer.
I've heard of this kind of phenomenon before. I believe that we might be in some kind of a temporal trap. Potentially, maybe even some manner of a ghostly intervention. Keep your wits about you, please.
Uh-huh.
Lovely. Well, Lambo will try and see what get closer and see what the parchment says under the knocker.
Yeah, so the parchment says, it's just sort of scrawled off very hastily. You pull it off pretty easily. It looks like it was affixed to the door with like some wood sap or something.
Sure.
You do notice in the parchment there are several holes where it looks like maybe somebody tried to like nail the note to the door, but you don't notice any evidence of like nail holes or even dents on the door itself. And the note is very hastily written and just said, "This is your new headquarters. If you can figure out how to get inside, it's yours." And it's signed the Soldiers of Acheron.
I love that.
Well, hey, we got a headquarters now, so there's that. Day's looking up already.
I love her so much.
Yes, it's wonderful we have a headquarters, but we need to get inside first. And do you see a way in?
Lambo will knock on the door.
Yeah, so as soon as Lambo goes up, do you knock with your hand, or are you going to use the brass knocker?
The brass knocker.
Okay, yeah. So as soon as you grab the knocker, you see Lambeau go and sort of grab the knocker to move like she's going to knock on the door. But before she can even lift it up, let alone knock it back on the door, she disappears. Lambeau, roll a d4 for me, and we'll get to you in just a moment.
Boy, okay. D4. This is going to go swimmingly.
Oh my.
Fantastic. Okay.
Well, that was unexpected.
I got in. I think. Maybe. I don't know.
I wish my dream journal had prepared me for this eventuality. Perhaps this is merely the way one gets in. I wouldn't want to leave our comrade waiting. Zephyr will go up and attempt to use a knocker and see if the same thing happens.
Okay, so Zephyr goes up, same thing, grabs the knocker, and immediately vanishes. Go ahead and roll me a d4 as well.
Oh, joy. They're both gone. Time for me to leave.
And that was the end of Kyle's character.
This was his plan all along.
Yeah, right. Actually, Merrick, as you watch Zephyr disappear, I'm sure that thought probably passes through their mind briefly. But just a couple of moments after Zephyr disappears, there is a soft click, and the door swings inward into the house.
Somehow that's worse than me having to knock on the knocker. And Merrick will go in.
Okay. So, Merrick, what you see before you is a long hallway that leads down to what is clearly sort of a central area of the house at the center, about maybe 20, 30 feet down this hallway. And as you go in and look around, it looks nothing like what you expected from having Lazarus look in the window upstairs. Inside is equally as pristine and perfect as the outside was, though the smell of wood smoke here inside is even stronger. Along the hallway, you can see that there are a few paintings hung on the wall. To your left is sort of a generic, sort of idyllic landscape. And on your right is a portrait of a family, of a mother and a father and a son and a young daughter. And you sort of have a look, and it's, creepy because things are creepy in general. But more creepy than that is you do a double take because that young daughter looks awfully familiar.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does.
Merrick is going to send Lazarus in the house and try to see if he can find the others.
Great. So Lazarus sort of flies down the hallway and into the sort of central foyer area, which is a round chamber that has several doors coming off of it. As soon as Lazarus gets to that central area, the door behind you, the front door of the house, swings shut, and you hear a click. Were you inside the house also?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, it was.
Yes, so the door swung shut behind you, closing out any light that was coming in from outside. Lazarus is there in the center. He does not see your companions, but like I said, he does see several doors, 3 coming off of the central circular foyer area. One, he also sees that there's sort of a T-juncture of hallways. So the hallway continues on further straight ahead and then also branches at right angles to the right and left. And there are some doors down the various hallways as well. So that's what... Lazarus does notice that 2 of the doors coming out of this central area are closed. The rest of the doors that he sees are hanging open ever so slightly. So that's what Lazarus sees. We're going to hop over to Lambeau. Now, Lambeau, you rolled a 2 on your D4 roll, right?
Yep, I rolled a 2.
Fantastic. So, you find yourself in what looks to be some sort of kitchen. Counter space takes up the majority of the north and the west walls of this really enormous kitchen. Clearly, they were kind of fancy and like had a lot going on. Must have had a staff of some sort, whoever lived in this house before. The counters are scattered with various cooking implements, knives, chopping blocks, serving bowls. And on the walls above the counters hang dozens of pots and pans of all shapes and sizes. A large brick oven occupies one corner of the room, and in the very center of the room is sort of a big island counter that also has, some knives and chopping blocks and things on it. No food immediately obvious anywhere in here. That smell of wood smoke is strong as ever, though everything looks pristine and shiny. The tools and pots and pans all look freshly washed.
Well, now that is odd.
Oh, I should also mention there are doors.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Duh.
I'm just in the kitchen.
Right.
I will never escape.
There is one door on the wall opposite from where the brick oven is. So actually, it's sort of right behind you, actually, as you're looking into this kitchen.
Well, she's gonna actually check out the brick oven first, and there's still that wood smoke smell.
Yeah.
See if there's anything in there.
Absolutely. It is pristine clean. It looks almost like it's never been used. It is so clean.
That is so odd. And she's gonna actually see if she's within 30 feet of one of the other 2, because she has telepath. And she's like, well, I'm in a kitchen. Do you know where y'all are? She'll send that out. She doesn't know whether they're in range or not.
Great. Okay. Let's see. Ismail, what did you roll on your D4? I think I saw it, but no, I don't remember.
1.
A 1. Okay, let's see. Just looking at my little map. See, this is where Roll20 would come in handy. Nobody responds.
Okay. That was just her checking.
Yep.
All right. Well, seeing that everything looks kind of pristine in here, I guess she'll just try for this door and see if she gets teleported again or if it actually opens.
Sure. So you go, this one has a handle, so it's like a normal door finally. And you go to grab the handle, and it's locked, you guess? Like, the handle doesn't turn at all. It's not, it's like, it almost is like it's a fake handle, although that doesn't seem right. But as soon as you touch the handle, you hear a rattling coming from behind you. And you turn and look, and the pots and pans on the walls behind you, the pots and pans on all the walls behind you are beginning to rattle and shake and move. And as you look on, one of them sort of lifts itself off its hook and zooms to the island in the center of the kitchen and lands with a loud clang on the center island.
She'll probably against safety go over and peek to see if there's anything in the pot now.
Yeah, so you head over. There's nothing in the pot, but you hear some more clanging. I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as another big old pot comes zooming towards the island.
Oops, nope, sorry, that was the wrong thing.
Oh, that's true.
Sorry, that was so. It would have been either 12 or 21, depending on which one of those dice you want to
Well,
use.
we can take the 19 since that was the first one that Roll20
Okay.
tried to roll. Yeah, so with that, I mean, you sort of, a part of you is sort of ready for it. Like, you don't know what the hell's going on, but like, so you sort of dodge out of the way as another pot, about the same size and shape as the first one, zooms over, clang, lands maybe 6 inches to the side of the pot that was already there, and the rattling is getting louder and louder. I keep doing that. The rattling is getting louder and louder, and more pots begin to lift their way off of the wall and zoom towards the island.
And well, now she's going to try, like, after dodging that one, she's going to kind of crawl away to get out of the way of the pots.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of like there. And okay, so the door handle felt like it was fake. If she touches the door itself, like she's still keeping her on now, she's just kind of scooting backwards.
Totally.
Does it feel solid, or
Yeah, it feels like a real door, and the door handle was there. It was a solid object. It just didn't turn.
Okay.
Yeah, you sometimes you have a locked door and the door handle sort of gives a little bit right before it hits the locking mechanism. This just didn't move at all. And you touch the door. The door's there. It's solid. It feels perfectly real. Pots and pans, as she goes over to check that out, are continuing to fly to the island counter, but instead of landing at this point next to each other, they're beginning to stack up on those two that originally landed on the counter. They're beginning to stack in some sort of strange shape, almost heading towards each other in these two little towers of pots and pans.
Is this the gateway to Hell's Kitchen? Is that what this is?
Yes. No, that's the A train. That's a New York joke for you.
That's a good one, though.
Thanks. Ooh, thanks for the cheer, Gnome. You're the best. Everybody hang out, or come back, rather, to the Greyhawk channel later this evening at, I think, 8 p.m. Eastern, because Gnome is going to be running a game set in the Feywild that I'm super excited about. So thanks for the cheer, Gnome. Yeah, so yes, it is definitely the portal to Hell's Kitchen. We're about to head over to Zephyr, but Lambeau, one more moment with you there. What's going on?
I guess at this point, she's just kind of like, I think she's kind of got the deer in the heads like thing, just looking at what this is going to do. Because it's kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of have to know, even if it's going to end up hurting me. So she's just kind of like wide-eyed, staring in fascination.
Totally. And more of these pots and pans coming faster and faster are building up around this thing. And finally, as the last couple of pots and pans zoom in, she is able to sort of figure out what it is that's going on. These pots and pans have built up together and begun to form sort of a solid mass in the middle, and then you see a couple more sort of trunks begin to spread out, and you realize, just as one final pot, a large pot, sort of lands on the top of this pile, that these pots and pans have come together to form a humanoid figure that bends down to the island counter, picks up a great big cleaver, and raises it into the air. And we're going to hop over to Zephyr.
No!
I want to imagine that the pot said, "And all forms ahead."
Yes!
Obviously. I love it. Zephyr, we hop to you. You are in another room. An enormous toy chest dominates the center of this room. The chest is painted a sort of garish yellow and features a jester's face painted on each of the 4 sides. Along the walls of the room are several long short bookshelves, and 2 child-sized beds, one under each of the room's 2 windows. The windows are currently covered with long drapes that reach all the way to the floor. And again, just like Lambeau noticed, the smell of wood smoke is stronger here, though the place looks pristine. The beds are perfectly made hospital corners, and everything is neat and tidy. There are doors. Why do I not want to tell you all about doors? There are doors. There is one door. Okay, so similar to what Lambeau saw, there is one door basically behind you.
This is the moment where a normal person would probably call out to his companions, but Zephyr's a little less wise than most people are. So he's just going to start going through the room and investigating it.
Awesome. Yeah. So what do you want to check out first? There's a couple of different features, and we'll sort of go in whatever order you would like. There's the toy chest, the shelves, the beds.
He'll kind of leave the toy chest for last. Zephyr's a little bit nervous about it, so he doesn't necessarily want to make a beeline for it.
Yeah.
So
Hard
like we'll
same
go.
if it were me.
Yeah. Um, we'll start. Zephyr will start going through the beds and then the shelves and kind of muttering to himself, saying, "Oh dear, oh my! This
Mhm.
reminds me of that dreadful story I read about the yellow wallpaper." Um, let's see what we can find here. Just kind of trying to talk to himself so that he doesn't get too scared.
Great. um, so you head over to the beds and you see, hey, thanks for the follow, Virtual Jason. Appreciate that. I also just figured out that I had the Streamlabs announcements layer in the wrong place, and that's why none of us could see them, but I fixed it because I'm smart. um, so you head over and you see these beds, and you sort of are able to look more closely, and again, like they look pristine, like they have never been slept in, or whoever made them was very, very good at making beds and really, like I said, hospital corners, very tight tucks. Other than that, there's not anything too particularly notable about them, but you can make me a wisdom perception or intelligence investigation, whichever you prefer.
That would be a 22.
Whew, all right. So you sort of, you look above and under and all over the beds, and underneath you see that there are a few. There's definitely space under there for like a small person to like crawl under, but no dust, nothing underneath the beds whatsoever. They're up against the wall. Both of the beds are sort of up against the wall, so there's sort of, if you crawl under there, there's nowhere to escape. All right, so you want to move over to the bookshelves next?
Yes.
So the bookshelves are filled with children's books, little stories and fairy tales and things like that. They look brand new. Their spines are uncracked. And they all are, well, no. Yes, that. No other detail necessary.
Then finally, Zephyr will head over towards the toy chest, kind of like taking really slow steps towards it, just not maybe looking back over his shoulder a few times and then slowly opening the toy chest. Not really eager to see what's inside, but kind of having a pretty good set of ideas.
Sure. So as you approach the toy chest, you can't help but notice that what looked like not necessarily an uncreepy jovial jester, because I happen to find that very creepy, even if it wasn't for what I'm about to tell you. But even creepier than just a jester painted on each of the four sides are that on two of the sides, the jester's eyes are a dead, sort of bluish white. No iris or pupil visible. And on the other two sides, the jester's eyes are a flat, matte black that almost seems... I mean, it's pretty dark in here anyway. You do all have dark vision, right? That's not something I have to worry about, right?
Yes.
Yes, great. Yes, half elf definitely does.
I actually do.
Oh, boy.
I don't think Janasi get that.
Oh, I think you're right. Okay. There was a window in the... Yes, there was a window in the kitchen. There's actually a window in both of these rooms, but the ones in Zephyr's room are covered by drapes, but the one in the kitchen allowed in just enough light that it's dim light in the kitchen, so we're good over there. So Zephyr, you see in the darkness that any sort of ambient light that's barely managing to sneak into the room from behind the window drapes almost looks like it's just sucked into these black eyes on two of the jester faces. And then did you say that you are opening up the chest?
Regrettably, yes.
So you reach down, you open up the chest, and just as you barely crack it, the lid slams open, and out fly a collection of what look like child's toys that scatter across the room. Many of them look like toy weapons of some sort, swords and axes and clubs, but there are also a couple of little rag dolls. There's one that looks like a wooden tiara that's been painted to look like it's metallic with gemstones. And there are a couple of stuffed animals. There's a stuffed owl bear and a stuffed dire wolf that fly out of this toy chest, scatter about the room, and sort of tuck themselves into corners. You see some of them maybe going under beds, in between books, behind books in the bookshelves, doing their best to hide from sight. And as you sort of try and keep an eye on and sort of are startled by all of this happening, a voice from the toy chest begins to speak in a sort of old, faint voice, and it says, "Good children are tidy children. Clean up this mess." And we're going to hop over again to Merrick at this point.
I don't know if I want to do anything. Can I just go?
That door slammed shut, but you're more than welcome to try. Although, to be fair, Merrick doesn't know anything about any of this.
Let me out.
So, Merrick, you've sent Lazarus down to the center of the house, and you're still sort of near the door in that first hallway. What are you doing?
You said that there's 2 doors that were slightly open.
There are 2 doors that are completely shut, and the rest of them are slightly open. It looks like
okay.
I'll tell you, and some of these doors are in that center area. Some of them are in some of the other hallways, but there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other doors, either in hallways or the central areas.
Lots of doors.
Lots of doors.
So Lazarus is going to come back to Merrick, and they are going to go down, and because the coast is clear down there, start poking through the ajar doors.
Okay. So let's see. Roll a d4 for me, and we'll see which door you check out first. That seems like a reasonable way to do it.
Number 1.
Number 1. All right. So the first door that you poke your head into, you can see, looks like it is some sort of dining room. There's a great big dining room table in the center of the room. Takes up actually most of the space in this room. 3 chairs on either of the table sides, bigger, fancier looking chairs at the head and the foot of the table. There's a silver candelabrum with candles in it resting in the center of the table. There's some empty sideboards placed along a couple of the walls. And above one of the sideboards is a large painting that you can't quite make out what it is from where you're standing. But if you want to go in the room, you can look at it more closely, or you can choose another door.
They don't see either Lambo or
they do not, no.
Or Zephyr, so they're gonna go back and try to check other doors.
Okay, roll me another d4, please.
2.
Great. So you sort of go across the hallway or across the central foyer to another door, and this one you open up, and it looks like some sort of study here in this room. The walls are covered floor to ceiling with bookshelves packed with books. There's a cold stone fireplace built into one of the walls. The chairs in the room, there are 4 of them in total, have all been pushed up against the sides of the room, and they're these great big plush, comfortable looking chairs. In the center of the room, sort of left without anything on it because the chairs have been pushed back, is this enormous, intricate, ornate rug that sort of takes up a good portion of the floor of this area. Here, as soon as you sort of open this door and poke your head in, the smell of wood smoke has been pretty pervasive throughout the house, but in here there's a sort of sweetness to it almost, as if this room had seen years and years of tobacco smoke, of pipe smoke, that sort of permeated the walls as well.
They're mainly just looking for Zephyr and Lambo at this point, so they're gonna go back out. I'm gonna try one of the locked doors or shut doors.
Okay.
Rather.
You roll me one more d4 for that one.
1.
Okay, so you try the handle, and the handle doesn't turn at all, and the door sort of doesn't give at all either. Like, you can try and sort of, you jiggle the handle, it doesn't move. You try and pull back and forth to see if at least the door will move in the frame, but it's almost as if the door has swelled to fit this frame so perfectly that it really has no give to it whatsoever.
Merrick's trying to knock on that door and say, Lambo, Zephyr, are you in this room?
Great. Zephyr, let me have you make a wisdom perception check, please.
A 10.
I saw the last roll and I was like, you were rolling like gangbusters. Merrick sort of goes over and they call out to you right as the toys explode and the voice starts speaking. So you don't get any response, I should say, Merrick.
So with no response, they're gonna go to the other door that's shut.
Okay.
And do the same thing.
Do the same
Knock.
thing.
Zephyr, Lambo, you in here?
Great. So Lambeau, let me have a wisdom perception check from you.
Sure thing. Oops. I can do things. No.
No, those pots and pans are loud, right?
They are loud.
They're real loud. So no, you don't hear anything either. So no response from there either, Merrick.
Well, I'm gonna keep looking through the house. Bye, guys. Have fun. You're not helping, I guess.
It's a good thing they can't hear you. So where are you heading, Merrick?
Did I find steps to the upstairs yet?
No, that's another thing. As you were looking around in all of those rooms, you're probably keeping an eye out, but nowhere to be found that you've seen had stairs. Basically what you've been able to sort of figure out about the layout of the house is there were 5 doors that you could poke your head in, but they all basically led to those 2 rooms, the dining room and the study. There were 3 doors leading into the study from different walls, and 1 leading to the dining room. You didn't see any other doors anywhere, so, if there are stairs, they must be behind one of the locked doors, you guess.
Yeah. So they're just gonna keep poking into the rooms that are open and try to get a general layout of the building.
I'm sorry, say that again. I got the last bit.
They're gonna keep poking through the doors that are open and just try to get a full layout of the building that they can reach.
Yeah, you've got a pretty good layout. So basically, if we sort of look at it from where you entered to the room, sort of on the bottom left corner is the dining room. Bottom right is the study. Top left is the kitchen, and top left and top right are locked.
Okay.
And then, like I said, central circular sort of foyer area with a cross of hallways leading up, down, left, and right.
Gotcha. All right. Then they're gonna go back into which room had the painting in it?
The painting was actually out in the hallway, that first hallway that you were coming in, and I should mention, thank you for reminding me, I should mention that as you sort of went up and down the halls and got deeper into that central area as well, you saw other paintings. Each of those 4 family members had their own individual paintings somewhere. None of them looked particularly happy in any of the paintings. There were also a couple of little end tables at the ends of a couple of the hallways that had these beautiful bouquets of flowers on them. That looked, like they had been freshly picked moments before. I think that's all. Yeah, so that's everything that's sort of out there in the
Wasn't there a
hallways.
painting in the dining room?
Oh, sorry, that painting. Yes, there was a great big painting on one of the walls of the dining room. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the one I want to go in.
Okay, great. So you head into the dining room.
Yes.
As you head into the dining room, soon as you sort of cross the threshold completely, the door slams shut behind you and clicks.
Figures.
We are gonna go back to Lambeau, who is in the kitchen. And Lambeau, I'm gonna need you to roll me some initiative.
Oh, I was afraid of that word.
You knew it was coming.
Yep. So this is +2 because I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So
No
a
worries,
3.
that's fine.
A mighty 3.
You rolled it like I was rolling last night. This is fantastic. I love it. All right, let's put on some more exciting music. Let's see. Let's try this.
It's going great, y'all.
Fantastic. All right, I should roll for this creature, I suppose, so that I know what I'm doing. Oh, well, it's not a 1, so that's good.
There we go. Just like, I'm gonna guess they're going first.
I think they are, yeah. Now, as I recall, Lambo, you were sort of down on the ground, sort of trying to avoid getting smacked in the
Yes.
head. So kind of give me an idea. Are you near the door? Are you near the oven? Are you near
Yeah,
the
she was
island?
near the door because she was like touching the door.
Oh,
and
that's right. That's right.
There, yeah.
Fantastic.
So her back's against the door.
Okay.
You know, perfect for somebody coming out there with a cleaver.
Absolutely. Totally. Okay, so in that case, the big set of pot armor sort of looks around the room and fixes its face. The front of it's very odd because it doesn't have a face. But if it did, it would feel like it was looking at you. And it hops down off of the center island, and it is loud as all of these pots and pans crash and clank against each other as they land on the floor, and it approaches you, and it swings its cleaver at you. And let's see.
At advantage, because I'm on the ground.
Yep. Okay, well, the second one was worse, so does a 13 hit you?
A 13. Yes, it would.
Okay. All right, so it swings its cleaver, and okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, my damage rolls are about on par with your d20 rolls.
Cool.
So it does slice into you pretty good for 5 slashing damage, but you managed to roll with it a little bit, so it's not nearly as deep as it could have been. But man, that cleaver is shiny because it's clean, but it is also like it's sharp, like it's just been sharpened.
Great. That's great.
It's the best. It is, however, your turn.
And so this thing is like right up in my space, right?
It is right up in your space. Yes, it is.
That's not okay. Lambo is really doesn't want this thing near her, so she's gonna. You know what? I think she's still sort of a little panicky, so she's gonna kind of she's going to pull out a dagger.
Yep.
And do booming blade.
Yeah, love that.
So we'll see if this even fits, though. Okay, not great, but I'll make it work.
Whoops.
Ah,
all right. No worries.
stupid R.
No worries. So Lambo is shakily pulling out.
Aha!
Hey, you really are hot and cold today. So that is a natural 20. I will make sure and put at least the roll 20 chat up so that our viewers can see it next week. So shakily, Lambo pulls her dagger and just sort of takes a deep breath, casts booming blade. Oh, come on, booming blade.
Yep.
And just stabs directly into the center of this creature. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Yep. So first is dagger damage. I don't know why it's so hard for me to type R today, but it is. So that's the dagger damage, and then the extra.
So the extra damage, I think, with booming blade happens when it moves, right?
So actually, since I'm level 5, it still takes a D8 right now, and now if it moves, then it's
That's right. I forgot you all were 5th level.
Yep. That's what I was checking.
I told you to do that, but I forgot.
4 more.
All right. So it just. I should write this down. Here we go. It just lances. You stab it right in the. Again, weird thing to say, but like the gut? Question mark. And as it slides in, it sort of lets out this shockwave, and it's even louder because as the boom of the blade happens, it rattles all of the pots and pans, and really just is incredibly loud. If any of your teammates were remaining in the hallways, they might have heard you, but they're not.
Yep. Sure are. It's the panicky part is like, because I think I can do this as a bonus. It doesn't actually specify in the thing, but telepath, she'll just panically call up, just like, I'm being attacked by a pot man. Please help.
And I actually think that the room that that Merrick went into, I do think you hear that in your head, Merrick.
Oh, now you can hear me. Well, I'm trapped in here now.
They can respond, right? Right.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
they
I
can.
think so too. Yeah.
To each their own. Good luck.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can't wait for Merrick to find out what they're facing. But anyway, all right. So you doing anything else? Are you moving around?
I will I did stand up for
Yeah,
that
oh,
attack.
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't think I can. Well,
I
oh,
mean,
let's.
you're welcome
I think
to, but
so. I can move,
Uh-huh.
and if they do move and take their opportunity attack, they will take the damage, right? Because that's them willingly moving.
well, they will swing at you without moving, but then on their turn, it'll have to approach you if it wants to attack again. But
That's
the
fair.
actual
Yeah.
attack of opportunity happens with that
That's fair.
as you leave its reach.
I think she's still going to try and at least get away from the door to have more room to maneuver. So
Yeah.
yeah, she'll
Also,
take
like,
the out.
you know your spell, and it might, if it hits you, it's gonna hurt. But like, there's no joke on the thunder damage that it's gonna take if it moves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Not prone anymore, so just a flat roll. Oh, that's worse than before. That's an 11 to hit you.
No.
Hey, all right. So it misses, and
Yes.
you're able to get out of its reach. Where do you head?
She's basically bugging it to the other side of the island.
Yeah. Oh, and we're playing a fun game of get around the island.
Pretty much.
All right, so it is going to take off and try and chase you on its turn, which is coming up now. So go ahead and roll that 2d8 thunder damage that it's going
All
to take.
right. 2, 8. Yeah.
Nice. All right. That's no joke. 15. All right. So as it takes a step, an even louder rattle of thunder and clanging pots and pans lets out as it heads towards you, and it is going to sort of get up to the. Let's see. What's your speed?
I think it's just 30.
Okay. Well, it's his too.
Yeah.
So it is actually what it's going to do is it's going to run and it's going to sort of jump up back onto the island, and it's going to try and stab down at you from on top of the island.
Hello.
Which doesn't mechanically help it, but it sure does sound cool. This one is a 21 to hit.
Oh yeah.
All right. So it's going to once again cleave into you. This one for a bit more. This time for 7 slashing damage.
Oh. Don't like.
Dislike. Let's have you take another turn, and then we're gonna hop over to our friend Zephyr.
Okay, the island did not protect me. This is a problem. I'm going to look at that as a spell, so it's right there in front of me. So thunder didn't seem to make it do any more extra rattling or anything.
I mean, it definitely hurt it. It
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
damaged it.
But I think I'm going to. I kind of got lucky on that hit though, because her 2 hit is not great. So she's just going to again, sort of in a panicky mode, just
Totally.
because she can do what levels? 3rd level spells?
Uh-huh.
3rd level magic missile. This thing.
Absolutely. I support that hardcore. So 5. What color are your magic missiles?
They are. She's panicked, so pink.
I love that. 5 pink darts of light and energy come flying out of her surprised hands and sink directly into the creature, dealing a total of.
It's 5d4 plus 1, I
How many
think.
hit points does? Yeah, plus 5. Yeah,
Oh, plus 5.
plus
Okay.
5 altogether, plus 1 each. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. 18.
18, nicely done. So they come slamming into it, and it does sort of stumble back on top of the island. It doesn't fall off, but it felt that for sure. And you can see it's beginning to move a little bit more sluggishly, but it does prepare to swing at you again. Anything else on your turn?
Trying to think. That was an action to do. So, I'm sure a nice set of pots, but I'd really appreciate you stop hitting me.
I love it. I love it so much. On that note, that's a perfect time to jump over to Zephyr, who is in a room with a voice, as we all recall, saying, in this low, sort of soft voice, saying, "Good children are tidy children. Clean up this mess."
Zephyr will begin calmly putting things away, but he'll take note of whether or not these things try and move away from him.
Yeah, so let's see, where do you want to head towards one? There's 10 of them all around the room, and they're under the beds and behind the curtains and in the bookshelves. None of them are particularly well hidden, but...
Whichever one is closest.
All right, we'll say that you were going to head over to one of the beds where you saw a couple of the toys sort of fly under there, and you look under the bed and you can see all the way sort of pressed up against the wall at the back on the far side of the bed is the little stuffed owl bear and a wooden axe, and they're both sort of pressed all the way up against the wall.
Nervously, Zephyr will reach for the axe first and see if he can grab that.
Okay. Why don't you make me a strength athletics check? We'll make this a grapple. That's not great.
Ooh, 16.
Okay. Well, I don't imagine that I don't have the bonus up, but it's not going to be 7. So, yes, so you do grab it, and it is fighting you for sure. As it tries to get out of your hand. As you go and reach for it, though, and grab it, the little stuffed owl bear sort of lets out this tiny little, sort of almost comical little squeak, and it opens its beak and tries to clamp down on your hand. Oh, does a 23 hit you?
Yes.
So
I imagine as I'm fighting with this thing in my hand, it's like also the owl bear is like clamped on my index finger, just
Yes, absolutely, that is what is happening. I love everything about it. All right, so it clamps down good. Let's see, it does 4 piercing damage as it clamps down on your finger, and now you've exactly like you described. You've got a little stuffed owl bear hanging off of your pinky. You've got a big old, not big, but like toy-sized wooden axe in your hand that's trying to get away. What are you doing?
I will try and get them into the box as best as I can, hoping that like putting them in there and closing the box will quell them.
Sure. So you head on over to the box. Let's make one more grapple check to hold on to it, because that axe is going to try and escape your grapple.
Oh, a 9.
That's okay. I rolled a 6. Now I need to check the stats. Ha! +2, so that's an 8. So you held on to it. Excellent. All right. So you managed to hold on to it. You dump it. The owlbear, of course, is just hanging on to you for dear life, so whatever. But you dump both of them into the toy chest, and you said you go to close the lid?
Yes.
As you close the lid, you notice that as soon as they hit the bottom of that toy chest, they both just become completely inert as they lie there on the floor of the chest, and then you slam the lid closed on top of them.
Zephyr's probably like sitting on the lid of the chest, nonetheless, and just kind of trying to catch his breath.
Yeah, totally. The voice is still sort of repeating every few seconds. That same old refrain: "Good children are tidy children. Clean up this mess."
Zephyr wants to try something unorthodox, and he gets out his flute.
We don't
and
do unorthodox in D&D.
Before playing his flute, he says, "There's no need for us to be at odds. But please listen to this lovely music, and perhaps we can make this work a little bit better and cooperate between the two of us."
No.
Or upwards of 2 of us. Starts playing this lovely tune, hoping that he can maybe Pied Piper these toys into the chest.
I kind of love that. You're not casting a spell, you're just playing to sort of use the
just
power of
exactly,
music.
just playing music and hoping that maybe the music will soothe the savage ghost.
I love it. Make me a charisma performance check. Oh, I keep forgetting to go turn on the Roll20 so I can see your rolls. Damn it. Holy, it is
29.
The very walls of the house weep for the beauty of your song. They don't. That's not true at all. However, What I will say happens is the voice continues sort of unabated, but I will say that, why don't you roll for me, let's see, roll me a d8. We'll see how many of the little toys. All right, so one pair of toys, one of the rag dolls that is accompanied by a little wooden sword, sort of come out from behind some books. And sort of sit on the edge. Well, the rag doll sits on the edge of the bookshelf, and the sword sort of lays itself across the doll's lap, and the doll just watches you. And from the other side of the room, it's a little strange, but you sort of hear a clattering, and out from behind one of the drapes comes that strange wooden painted tiara. And it doesn't have a face, but you get the sense that it too is watching and listening to your music.
Please come along. I promise you that this will be brief and will not be of much trouble at all. And he'll even put his arm out to the doll to see if it wants to just perch itself there. If not, he'll grab the doll gently.
Sure.
And then proceed to do that with the tiara as well.
Just for curiosity's sake, why don't you roll me a charisma persuasion this time, but with advantage, because that was such a killer performance check. What did I say? Tiara. I love this. It's
13
as all get out. Was that with advantage? Oh yeah, roll again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's the natural 20. So yeah, the sword seems to resist a little bit for a moment, but the doll sort of reaches down, and the song is beautiful, but this is some creepy shit. The doll reaches down, grabs the sword, and sort of hefts it over his shoulder, and leaps off of the bookshelf, and sort of totters over to where you're sitting.
Let us rest for the moment. I believe the time for play will be later, and he'll open the chest. He'll wait to see if the doll enters the chest. If not, he'll just lift it gently and place it in.
Yeah, the doll looks like he really wants to, but the chest is pretty big compared to him, so he's not real sure how he can get himself in there.
So yeah, just gently,
Great.
Here we go.
You lift him up. He's got the sword with him, so you put them both in there. And again, as the toys hit the bottom of the chest, they become completely inert and unsentient, non-sentient again. The tiara seems to be hanging out over by the drapes. It didn't come towards you, but it hasn't gone back into hiding or anything.
The creepiness isn't lost on Zephyr. He's probably sweating bullets and trying to make the best of the bad situation. But he'll walk over to the tiara and just kind of procedurally try and go and get the rest of these things.
So you get to the tiara, and you're able to take the tiara, but out from behind and it goes willingly, but out from behind the drapes comes flying a little wooden club, and it flies around and tries to bean you on the hand, presumably to try and get you to drop the tiara, but it I don't know. You move? I don't know. And it just clatters to the floor and sort of gets up shakily and shakes itself off. But it still looks upset. Or as upset as a toy wooden club can look. Look.
Zephyr will probably do as his nanny did when he was cross with her and just leave that one for last and let it just calm itself down.
Okay.
And go get the other ones and just let it kind of work out its anger.
All right, so do you take the tiara back to the chest?
Yes.
First, okay, so as you take the tiara back to the chest, this little club is not giving in, and it follows you and tries to bean you again. That is a 12 to hit?
AC 14.
Okay, so it misses you again, but it looks like it is not giving up. It is mad at you for taking its tiara. So it continues to, and it looks like it's winding up ready for another swing.
If I can place the tiara in the box and then try and grab for the club, maybe?
Yep, but go ahead and make me a strength athletics check. I got a 6, so...
Zephyr will grab it and say, "Not to worry, I will reunite you with your tiara."
Aww. And drop that in. Since you're right next to it, it doesn't have time to resist as you drop it into the box and is in fact reunited with its tiara friend. Excellent. All right, so that's 6 of the 10 toys that you saw shoot out of this box, and you head over to the other bed to retrieve a couple of others. And as you go over once again, the voice from the box you hear say, "Good children are tidy children. Clean up this mess." And we'll hop over to Merrick. Merrick, that door slammed shut behind you as you entered this dining room. Again, you can see a big old dining room table in the middle, 6 chairs on either side, 2 bigger chairs at the head and the foot, but you can see them a little more clearly now. You can see the detail of the head and foot chairs, and they are intricately carved with some pretty messed up looking carvings. You notice some infernal looking creatures sort of carved in and around the backs of these chairs. You also get a better look at the painting on the far wall of this dining room, and it looks like a painting of a dinner party that looks like it was taking place in this very room. The table with the silver candelabrum exactly like you see it. The chairs, the seats are all full, so 8 guests at the table. There are a few servants that you see over by the sideboards and with serving dishes, things like that. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go check out these chairs and their infernal markings, because infernal is my middle name.
That it is. Go ahead and give me... I don't know, are you good at... We'll say either intelligence, history. I'll also buy intelligence arcana, I guess, because that's like a planar thing.
Arcana.
All right. Also, like, I feel like you, of all of us, would probably know something about this, so...
Maybe a little bit.
As you said,
15.
It's your jam. 15, yeah. So... There are the most prominent carved figures. There are lots of like little mini representations of like, spiked demons or rather devils and things like that. But the most prominent carvings on the back of these chairs that take up the most real estate on the wood are these bat-looking creatures with scorpion tails, which of course you know to be representations of imps. Servitors of many stronger devils, but powerful in their own right, are carved onto the back of each of these chairs.
Interesting. And so it's just a dining room. There's just like the chairs, the painting, portrait. There's nothing else really of note.
Doesn't seem to be. Make me a wisdom perception check.
Natural 20.
Okay. So you look up from the back of the chair, and immediately the painting catches your eye. And you look back at the painting, and it has changed.
Hate that.
Yeah, right? There are significantly fewer people in this painting now. In fact, there's only one person in the painting, and they are sitting in one of the chairs on one of the sides of the table, and they look like they're... You remember them from last time, because that was a natural 20. So you remember them from the original version of the painting. They were having a conversation with the person sitting next to them. It looks like they're still having that conversation, but they are the only person in the painting. And as you notice this, one of the candles in the candelabrum flares to life, and begins to burn, and that catches your attention. You look back over at the painting, and the canvas has faded to a blank canvas. There is no longer any painting there.
I hate this so much.
Oh yes, you know what, Lauren? You're absolutely right. The flame, I know this was for his natural 20, but the flame is green. It is, in fact, a green flame. Never mind.
So very cautiously, Merrick is going to get up from their seat, and they are going to slowly walk over to the seat the person in the painting was sitting in, having a conversation.
Great. As you make your way over there, you notice that this candle it's not like a little taper candle, whatever, right? Like it's thick enough. It's a standard size candle, but it is burning away very quickly. And and by the time you reach that chair, there's maybe half an inch left in the candle. And you said you sit in that chair?
Yes.
Okay. So the second you sit in that chair, the candle winks out. And so there's about that much left of that one candle. And you turn and look, and the painting has returned. This time with two people in the painting. One of them sitting in the chair that you are sitting in, and one of them sitting in another chair across the table from where you are.
I will get up from the chair I'm in right now.
I should also mention another candle ignites and begins to burn with green flame.
And go over to the other chair.
Great.
And sit in that one.
Presumably a little more quickly this time. So
yes.
you head over to that other chair, and you have a seat. And this time, the candle it again burns very quickly, but not quite so. You get over there much more quickly this time, and so less of the candle has burned away, and it goes out again as you take your seat.
I'm playing musical chairs. Let's do it.
So it would seem. The painting reappears a third time, and as expected, there are three people sitting in three different chairs. Two of them, the chairs that you were sitting in, and then a new chair is occupied.
I'm dashing to that chair.
All right, you dash to the chair. The candle has barely any time. In fact, it was right next to you, so you just sort of hop to the next seat. The candle has barely any time to burn down, and then it winks out again as you have a seat in this third chair. And as expected, there's a fourth candle. The painting reappears. The candle ignites. This time, though, you don't see an additional person in the painting. There are only three people that you immediately notice in the painting.
Have they changed their position?
They have not.
Is there only 4 chairs? How many chairs are in the dining room?
There are a total of 8 chairs, 6 on either side of the table, and then 1 at the head and the foot.
Shit.
Candle burns.
Do I remember how many people were in the portrait to begin with?
Originally, all of the chairs were full.
Was there any pattern to where the candles were in correspondence to the chairs?
Make me an intelligence investigation check as the candle continues to burn.
That's a 12 math.
Not that you can discern, no. And of course, all of this is happening at the speed of thought, so the candle is burning during all of this, but not quite so much, yeah.
I'm just gonna place my butt in chairs as fast as I can.
Okay, so you go and you just sort of make your way around the table, and the candle continues to burn down. You finally sit in the 8th chair, and there is about the same as that first candle. There's about a quarter or a half an inch left of candle, and it is still burning.
I stand up, and was there anyone standing in the painting?
There were a few servants standing in the painting. One of them was over by one of the sideboards, sort of leaning down as if to open the cupboard in the sideboard to get something out of it. And then one of the servants was standing behind the head chair with a serving dish in hand, about to serve the person.
I'm going to stand behind the head chair.
All right, so you stand behind the head chair. The candle burns completely and winks out.
Ah, fuck.
And as the candle disappears, a couple of things happen. One is that the painting reappears with all of the people in it. And go ahead and make me an intelligence investigation check just for this quick glance that you're going to have at this painting.
That's a 13.
So it looks like the original painting as far as you can tell, and you don't get much more of a chance to have a look at it to notice anything else when the chair in front of you begins to rattle a little bit, and you see the carving of that imp blink slowly and pull its way out of the back of the chair. And I'm going to have you roll initiative, and I will come back to what it is in just a moment. We are going to take a really quick little break here. I think that is the thing that happens on the Greyhawk channel, so we're going to be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm having a great time. I love this adventure. I love these players. I love creepy things. We will be back in about 5 minutes to find out what happens to our 3 split party adventures. When was the last time a DM forced the party to split up? All right, we'll see you all in about 5 minutes. Don't go away. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are back with the Brenton Files Monsters and Myths Episode 1. Happy to have you all with us. I have an embarrassing confession to make, and you're all going to see it when I click this button, I think, if this is all set up properly. I'll give it a moment. If it doesn't, I'll just tell you my embarrassing confession. Oh, it's not doing it. Well, I discovered about halfway through the first half of our game that I, after telling you all to go and follow the Greyhawk channel, was not following the Greyhawk channel. So, I'm following now, and you should all too. We have a 400 season follower goal, new followers, there it is. So, yeah, if you haven't yet, go, if you're like me and are slacker, go up to the top of the screen, hit the little heart button, and follow the Greyhawk channel so that you get notifications and such whenever we go live. All right, cool. Second little bit of housekeeping thing. I know that I saw, or I thought I saw, that we had a big old donation of cheers up right at the top of the show, but I don't actually see that it went through, so I think I misspoke when I talked about having Divine Favor already ready for us. I will check in with Kevin a little bit later, because I have every belief that he intended for that to go through, but it doesn't look like it did, so I'll have a conversation with him. But if you want these folks to get things like inspiration or rerolls on saving throws or automatic successes on saving throws and stuff like that, we appreciate your little bits and your cheers, and all of that goes towards getting us to 100% Divine Favor and me tossing some help the players' way. Sounds like somebody else has also joined us, but I'm looking at the wrong screen, so I'm gonna have to wait for it to come up, and then I will thank you for following us. That said, thank you. Oh,
That was me.
thank you, Ismail. All right, that said, let's hop back in. We are going to hop over to the kitchen where Lambeau is fighting a pots and pans suit of armor. Lambeau has just let loose a high-level magic missile at the creature, and it definitely felt it, but not to be deterred. It's standing on this island above Lambeau, reaches down once again and tries to swing its cleaver at her. That is a 22 to hit that time.
That one doesn't hit weirdly. It's too high.
Right, there's that one number in the 20s that just doesn't hit you.
Just rolls it back.
Yeah. Oops. Roll in the box, huge. All right. Oy, this one does more damage than the others. This one does 11 points of slashing damage.
Oh no, she's still up, but this is not by much.
And it sort of hefts its cleaver and awaits your next move. Go ahead, Lambeau, take your turn.
No, it hit me first. I was like, maybe if I don't hit it, it won't hit me. Like, no, it hit me first. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it definitely did.
Oh boy. I'm gonna do a thing.
Do the thing. I have faith.
Okay. This is what I'm gonna do. So, Lambeau realizes that she is quickly running out of wiggle room, and it's up on the island. She's going to cast Slow on it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. So that is a... What kind of save is that? Is it a wisdom save?
That's a... I should have it right
save?
here.
What is it?
It's a wisdom save.
Wisdom save. All right.
Yes.
What do I do with my... How do I... It's giant. Here it is. Couldn't find my D20. Oh, that's not very good. That's a 13.
Doesn't make it! Yay!
All right. It is slowed, which means that its speed is halved. It has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
It has disadvantage on dex. It's got a -2 to AC. It can either take a bonus or an action on its turn.
But not both.
In addition. Yeah, but not both.
All right.
And it can't take reactions at all. Speaking of that, run!
Yeah, there it is. And off she goes.
As she's like panicking, she's yelling, just like, I could cook a nice stew and you please stop hitting me.
Amazing. And she makes her way to the farthest corner away from the creature as she can in the kitchen. And it really slowly sort of takes a step. It hops off of the island and makes its way towards you, but it can't actually get all the way towards you. So I think it's actually gonna use its action to dash so that it does get all the way to you, but then no longer has an action with which to attack you. So it just stands menacingly in front of you as you take your next turn.
sorry. First things first, I run because it can't take reactions.
That is correct. I'm gonna say that you all are just going in a circle around the island at this point.
Pretty much.
Fantastic. Does it get a save after each of its turns, by the way?
No,
Okay.
I think it's just the first. Well, let me double check that, but I think it's just the first turn.
I love that spell, and I just haven't. It doesn't get used so much. I don't know why.
I just want to imagine that there's like Scooby-Doo sound effects as they're like.
Yes.
as they're
No,
going.
I'm sorry. It does make a wisdom saving throw at each one of its turns. So she books it, and she will do a spell while it's still slowed before. It's because it does get a saving throw at the end of each turn.
Okay. All right. So let me do that real quick.
I thought it didn't. My bad.
Don't imagine
one-
it's gonna be. Yeah, that's a 4.
No. Okay. And then kind of over the shoulder she'll do, and by over the she'll touch. There we go. That's still in range.
That's
And
the
cantrip.
one. Yep. All right.
So that's a D20 plus 6. I'll just roll the D20 in plus
That's
6.
fine.
So that's 19.
19 does it.
Yeah, and it's an amount of damage that I just looked
It's
at.
2d8.
A 2d8. There we go. So that I can do. 6.
All right, so this spectral, ghostly hand flings out from you and goes and tries to grab. Never mind, I was looking at the wrong stat block. Yes, it grabs the creature and squeezes, and you just see it. You see the pots and pans sort of reach up and try and scrabble at the ghostly hand. Whoops, the ghostly hand. Isn't able to pry it away, and it takes 6 damage and is unable to regain hit points, which it was unable to do anyway, but there you go.
I don't know. I don't know this pot's life.
That's right, absolutely. So it's it's gonna chase you. It's gonna run, it's gonna get to you, but it can't do anything once it gets there. You all are just circling that table again. Let's see, this time it's wisdom save. Oh, it's getting better. That was a 5.
No, nope. Death stress, slow.
Just. All right, take your next turn.
I think she's just gonna do that because she's out of like higher level spell slots at this point, so it's gonna be chill touch again.
Use the cantrips.
Use-
They are effective.
Okay.
They are effective.
So yeah, if the other one hit, that definitely hits. Yep. So another 2d8, 6 again.
All right, so
My favorite number, I guess.
yeah, clearly. So it continues to slow down and look like, a couple of pots and pans like fall off its shoulders. It's really not looking good, but it continues.
And as this is happening, she's also offering to cook different things, seeing if she can get to the right meal.
Maybe if you
it'll
just pick the right food. It follows you. Oh, for heaven's sake, that's an 8.
No.
Just put it out of its misery.
I'm trying to. If it would just let me cook a good meal in it.
I know
So
it.
that's 13, actually.
Ooh,
Or that might
13,
not hit.
even with the -2 AC, does not hit. This thing is pretty well armored with these pots and pans. So that time you're just flinging these spectral hands behind you, and that one you forget to turn around and aim first.
Right, just kind of high five? No? Okay.
No. Off you go. It follows up. They are each getting progressively better, but that's 12.
Nope, not.
Carry on.
I can't.
Just in circles around this island.
No, that definitely won't hit.
Oh boy.
Not a 1.
All right,
but...
so this time it's gonna as you get to the other side. Well, no, it'll try one more time to try and get to you. And hey, that's an 18.
Yes, that will do it.
All right, so it can take reactions, but it does make that save at the end of its turn. So it is your turn now.
Okay. And she'll kind of feel this way. It's just like, oh no.
Yeah, as it gets to you, it speeds up ever so slightly the last couple of steps that it steps up to you, and you realize what's happened.
So it's like closed with me now again?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's going to, not that I've been rolling well, she's gonna try the booby blade again.
Do the thing.
Yeah, so this is +2 this time. 11.
That's
no.
not gonna do it. It skitters off of the plate. Of the pot armor, and doesn't sink in.
I'll shine you. I won't even use any spit. Please stop. Biscuits, turkey legs. What do you want? I'll give whatever meal you like. I am versatile.
I love everything about this. Anything else on your? Are you moving away this time?
I no, because then I just take 2 attacks instead of 1.
That's probably true. All right. Woof. Okay, so it's standing there. It finally has a chance to. Whoops. It finally has a chance to swing at you with the cleaver that has been thirsting for your blood. And let's see. Oops. I'm getting all caught up in my.
Miss.
That is a 14 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. Well, I rolled another 1, so that's, what did I say? 4, I think.
Okay, still up.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's 5 slashing damage.
Still up.
Okay.
It
all
hurts.
Right. It hurts. All right.
I will do. Chill Touch is honestly my best spell.
It's a ranged spell, and you're also right next to it, so you'll have.
Oh, that's true. Yes, never mind. We'll stick with Booming Blade. This is gonna be so poorly. 15?
15. It doesn't have the -2 anymore. No, that doesn't hit.
Oh, that's right. And I can't do so again.
Yeah, basically all of that.
Yeah, that's
that.
all she's got. She's just babbling. That's all she's got.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, great. No, yeah, absolutely. Let's see. What sorcerer's origin are you?
I'm Mystic. The Awakened Soul or whatever.
Oh, right. What is that? Does that give you anything useful?
I could get proficient with the skill if I wanted or something.
Oh, so no. All right.
No.
Okay, well, it's gonna take another swing.
Oh shoot! I know what I should have. It doesn't matter now, but I know. Oh wait, I have sorcery points. Haha!
Yeah, you do.
I'm gonna cast slow again because that worked the best.
Yeah, so you can use your bonus action to convert the points to a spell slot. Great, got it.
Yep.
All
so
right.
I will do that. Do slow again. Wisdom save.
Okay. That's a 6.
No, that doesn't make it
All
good.
Right. Run away! Run away! And the chase picks back up. I wish I had good. Yeah, good goofy chase music. Actually, this music that we're hearing now is called Chase, but it's not like.
We'd have to speed it up by a multiplier.
All right, it runs to you. Wisdom save. That is a 9.
No. All right. We'll go back to what worked best. So yeah, so back to the usual.
Absolutely.
So that's 14.
14 doesn't do it either.
Dang
It
it.
runs to you. It's an 11.
Nope.
All right.
All right.
Chill Touch firing off more of these hands.
Yes, that hits.
That hits. Come on. It does not have that many hit points left.
6.
Hilarious. Also exactly how many hit points it had left.
Yay!
That's 3. Clearly, we don't need to roll damage on Chill Touch anymore. It just does 6
it's
damage.
just 6.
All right, so this one finally hits it, and it just you're just done. And the spectral hand just forms a fist midway to the thing and punches it right in the chest, and the pots and pans all clatter to the floor without anything holding them up anymore. The knife clatters to the floor, and you hear a soft little click, and the door to the kitchen swings open ever so
She books it before it closes again.
Yeah, she does.
I just imagine she's scrambling over pots to get to it.
Yes, absolutely. Zephyr, you have headed over to the bed, and you look under the bed for more of the toys, and you find the little dire wolf that is hiding under there next to a little wooden spear.
Come, little friend, rejoin your other friends.
Does not seem super inclined, but yes, you can make an acrobatics check if you like to try and grab. Which one are you grabbing, the spear or the direwolf?
I think I see the best course of action is to grab the spear first.
It's wise, yes.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Athletics to initiate the grapple. Acrobatics if it wants to escape, but if you're the one doing the holding. I got a 12. What'd you get?
An 11.
An 11. Okay, so it manages to get out of the way, though it does, it sort of pulls back a ways. The little direwolf, though, does come in and try to bite you, but God, that's another natural 1, so it just bites itself. And, like a little bit of stuffing comes out of its lip where it tore through.
Oh, I'll try and grab it and kind of pet it and be like, "It's all right. We'll
Aw.
fix you up."
Okay, it doesn't really want you to touch it, so you'll have to make another athletics check.
All right, that's all right.
Oof.
It's a little better that time.
Yeah, that's fine. I rolled a 7, so you do manage to grab the direwolf. But as you do, this time the javelin comes in. I mean, the spear comes in and tries to stab you for a 9 to hit.
That will not hit.
Okay, great. So you've managed to grab the direwolf. You want to take it over to the box?
Yes.
All right. It's going to try one more time to get out of your grapple. So go ahead and make an athletics check for me. Got a 12.
Again?
All right.
Woohoo!
Nice. So you managed to put that in. It goes dormant. The spear is going to get one more chance to swing at you. That's a 15 to hit?
That does hit.
Okay. So it does manage to poke you. And it's like, it's not very sharp, but like it kind of hurts. It's not pleasant. It just does 2 points of piercing damage as it pokes
It had
you.
a D4 at the end of it.
What's that?
It had a D4 at the end of it.
Yes, exactly. Man, those things hurt when you step on them.
Ooh.
Yes, okay, excellent. So it does manage to, I mean, it does stab you a little bit, but do you want to try and grab it now?
Most assuredly. And that's a 17.
Nice. That is a 14. So you're all set. You grab it. You're already over at the box. And so you toss that in, and that, I think, makes it 8 of the 10. You've got 2 more left. Let's see. You pulled the ones out of the bookshelf, the 2 from under the... Oh, I forgot to switch the music. The 4 from under the various beds, and the 2 from behind one of the window drapes. There we go. Sorry, I just wanted to switch the music over because I really like this creepy music. All right, so you can head over to the second set of drapes where you think the remaining 2 are hidden, and behind them you catch sight of what's left. Oh, of the other ragdoll and a wooden sickle.
All right, friends. You're the last ones. You've had your fun.
Grabbing the sickle or the ragdoll?
I'll try for the sickle first.
Yep. 12 on my end.
Oh, 1 9.
Oh no, okay, so it dodges out of the way, and the the ragdoll, however, being a ragdoll, well, let's see. I rolled a natural 20. However, it's literally just a ragdoll, so it swats at your hand, and surprisingly, with a surprising amount of force, but it's a ragdoll, so it doesn't actually do any damage. Only the 2 stuffed animals could actually hurt you.
It does pride damage.
Right, that's right. It does pride damage because it gives you a good no, bad.
Happy Gay Pride.
Yeah. So that. Who would you like to try for next?
Zephyr will try the sickle once again.
Yep, absolutely.
16?
9. So that is all yours. The sickle is all yours. You can walk it back over to the chest. The doll is going to continue to try and swat at you, but again, even if it connects, it's really fine. So you can dump the sickle into the toy chest, and have only the ragdoll, who now is going to also try and sort of run away from you around the box, because I think that, hey, thanks for the follow, Hunt Gore 25. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so it's gonna sort of try and run around, although you are significantly larger and faster than it, so it's gonna be significantly less effective than our chase scene in the kitchen.
So yeah, Zephyr will probably lay himself across the front of the chest just to get long, his length to work for him, and then just try and grab it as soon as it gets within range.
I just imagine this from its point of view, this giant figure looming from above, and exactly. Yes, thank you for the show. I love it. Ooh, I love those nails too. All right, go ahead and give me an athletics check. No, not terrible. was a 13.
Oh, 11.
Okay, so it manages to skitter out from underneath you. I mean, you're going to catch it eventually, but this is just fun flavor at this point.
Yes.
What new tactic do you want to try?
He's probably going to try and take out his rapier, but in the sheath.
Okay.
And like kind of get the ragdoll by the collar and just kind of deposit it in.
I sort of love that. You can make an attack roll for that. Obviously, you're not actually going to do damage, but attack to try and use the sword to get up under there.
Yes. And just so that I remember, okay, it is a.
Oops.
19.
Keep forgetting. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you manage to sort of get it right underneath the collar, pick it up, and you
I
can
just
sort
imagine it's.
Go ahead. Yeah, I love it. All right, and depositing that one into the chest as well.
Yes.
All right, so as you deposit that in there, the lid this time of its own accord snaps shut. That awful droning of "good children are tidy children, clean up this mess" finally, mid-sentence, cuts off. And after the lid snaps shut, you hear a click, and the door to your room opens as well.
I will cautiously step out.
You cautiously step out, and just across the hall from you, you see bruised and battered and bleeding. You see Lambeau sort of running out and presumably like slamming the door shut behind her.
I vote we get new kitchenware.
Amazing. Yes, I second that vote.
My poor companion Lambeau, please come over here. I can heal you up if you are in need.
She just kind of like slacks on your shoulder.
Oh.
Yes, please.
I love it.
Heal 14 points of damage.
Hey, that ain't nothing.
Yes,
That
thank
feels
you.
better. And how do you?
Thank you, magic person.
How do you cast that heal, Zephyr? What happens?
Just put my arm around her shoulder and just kind of support her and maybe go over to a chair and kind of say a couple of words of support. I know that it's probably a trying time right now, but know that if this place is to be ours, and we must claim it, and this is all part of that process. So I am here for you now. I'm sorry that we were not together earlier.
You're so nice. I'm gonna take a nap now.
Please do.
I love it. So you go, Lambeau, you go to sort of like lean like on the wall or something, I don't know, to take your little nap.
Yeah.
And you're sort of looking for a place to sit, and you turn and you see sort of in the far north, the directions don't matter, at the end of one of the hallways, you see a sort of odd sight. You see a door several feet up that is just sort of there in the wall, leading somewhere, and there are 2 or 3 steps leading down from it, but they end, probably 6 feet off the ground or something. There's no sort of obvious, maybe more like 8 feet off the ground. There's no sort of obvious way to actually get up to the door. These stairs just sort of end after a couple of them. Of course, you all don't know that those weren't there before, but if Merrick were to see it.
It appears we have a stair deficiency.
There certainly seems to be some manner of caprice attached to this house. I do not know what game it is at, but perhaps we shall be winning it soon if we persist.
I agree. I just need some R and more stars, and just slumps down against the wall.
Bless her heart.
Please get your rest. I will be here to make sure that you are undisturbed.
Yeah, she looks a lot better, but she's still not full.
Also, like that was messed up. You need a little break. All right, we're gonna hop back into the dining room where an imp has just come out of the back of a chair where our friend the wizard is, and 1,000,000 years ago I asked you to roll initiative. What did you get on that initiative, Merrick?
I got a 10.
All right, well, that's still, I think, better than the imps, who just rolled a 5 on the die, which means it's an 8. So you get to go first.
I want to have Lazarus help me. Do you want me to roll initiative for?
I believe yes. I believe in the Find Familiar they do get their own initiative.
Yes. So he goes even more first. He got an 11.
Okay, great. It's such a high number for initiative. All right, so Lazarus is up first, then Merrick, then the imp.
I'm gonna have him take the help action and like kind of dive bomb the imp.
Yep.
And just run interference for me to
Great.
give me advantage on attacks.
I love that.
Because I love having advantage.
And you're about to have advantage on this attack.
On my turn, I'm going to back away and like kind of like Lazarus be like the front line for me and back away on the other side of the table, and I'm going to cast a second level Witch Bolt.
Ooh, all right, that ain't nothing.
So I'm going to pull out my fancy little iron wand that I have. It's like a long triangular shape, and it's cute. And I'm going to
D4
zap
then?
it. I'm going to zap it. It's a
All right,
giant
zap
D4.
it.
And wow, we love advantage. That gives me a 13 to hit.
13 does actually hit the imp.
Hey! So I do 2d12
That is correct. This bolt of eldritch lightning comes flying out, smacks the imp right in its chest as it claws itself free from the back of the chair, doing
7 lightning
7
damage.
lightning damage. It's good, but it's not good enough to drop it, and the imp is going to take its turn, and it sort of oh, and the lightning stays connected to it, right?
Yes, I
Yeah,
maintain the...
It is not about that life. So it is going to go, it is going to indignantly sort of screech and fly up to you, and you can see it's readying its stinger as it snaps down and attempts to sting you.
Don't do that. Leave me alone.
For a 17 to hit.
No! It does.
Okay, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Is this to maintain the thing, or is this for the poison?
This is for the poison, and then
Okay.
we will determine your concentration.
So I got a Constitution. That's a 7.
Okay, so you're gonna take all of this poison damage. Oops, as the
Love
imp's
that.
stinger tail drop to die, dumps poison into you. So you take 7 piercing and 10 poison damage. Ooh, for a total of 17 damage, which means now we also need a DC 10 Constitution save to maintain concentration on your Witch Bolt as you are distracted from the arcane energies.
And I got advantage because I'm a warcaster.
That's it.
Well, that's a natural 18.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. So
And a 7.
you are no stranger to casting in combat, and you grit your teeth through the pain and maintain the Witch Bolt. And it is Lazarus's turn now.
Caw-caw!
Okay.
He attack. He's gonna continue dive bombing
Yep,
and helping me out.
absolutely. All right.
Not much he does. Then my turn.
Yes, it is. Not that you need the advantage, because you can auto hit.
Yeah, it's not another attack. It's just another D12. I don't.
Yes.
It's just
one.
Yeah, because.
Yep.
That was a 12.
A 12, all right. So it hurts and it sort of pisses you off. You are having a day. So you just pump as much energy as you can into another pulse of this lightning, and the imp just explodes. Ichor goes everywhere. And yeah, it sort of smells. It's black, but it very quickly, as soon as it lands on any surface, it begins to bubble and smoke and disappear very quickly. But you have vanquished the imp. You hear a soft click, and your door opens as well.
As I'm walking out, I walk past the other chair that didn't have the imp come out of it, and I just like push it over and I walk out.
I love it. All right, so Lambeau and Zephyr, you see from one of the other closed doors in the central area, you see Merrick walk out, and they, well, I don't know. I mean, they look not awesome, but they weren't in a great mood to begin with, and they actually only have the one puncture wound, because most of it was poison damage, so all things considered. Merrick, you also notice the door and the steps. Although, when you look up, you see that there are not just 3, like I mentioned earlier, but 6 steps now leading down from that door. And they end only about 3 or 4 feet off the ground. And the other 2 of you can also notice, Lambeau and well, I don't know about Lambeau, she may be sleeping, but Zephyr can notice that stairs, you turn to look at Merrick when they came out of the room, and when you turn back, 3 more stairs have appeared.
Well, I'm glad to see you safe. Was all well in your room?
It is now. It wasn't a moment ago.
Duly noted. I've noticed that there's been an increasing number of stairs attached to that door up there. I presume we may have to go through a number of trials within each of these adjacent rooms. Perhaps we need to go through more to cause the rest of the stairs to appear, or we could try and open it now.
I mean, it's not that far off the ground now. We can climb, I think.
I suppose it's not. It wouldn't hurt to try, or at least I hope that it wouldn't. Let us give it a shot.
Be my guest. I hurt.
She's asleep. She is asleep.
I know she is. Bless her cotton socks.
If you would like to heal me, Zephyr, I would be more than grateful.
Oh, I didn't know that was an emotion you felt, Merrick.
Listen, bitch.
Oh, I can tell this is gonna. See, you know what? I support that roll. Because that's about what they deserve.
5 hit points.
Yeah.
That's the minimum that I can heal, and not by choice. That was just the dice that decided.
5. I'm now at about half, whereas I was at 10 before.
All right. So Zephyr, are you gonna sort of haul yourself up those stairs and head up? See what's going on. Okay. As you get closer to the door, you see that, in fact, it does have... This one's a little strange. So far you've seen doors that have no handle, and doors that have ineffectual handles that become effective eventually. This door looks like it has a handle painted onto it. It's a sort of 2-dimensional representation of a door handle, but it definitely doesn't look like you could grab it and turn it.
Interesting. Well, I'll call down. Well, I don't believe we'll be able to go through this door. However, I think that perhaps my earlier observation was more on the correct side. We may have to continue through these other rooms and deal with whatever plague they happen to have within.
But I don't want to.
We have the added benefit of all being together. We can wait and all go in as a single force. I'm sure that we'll be able to overcome it if we tackle it as a team. I think perhaps there is even some truth to this. That might be the reason that we were sent here, is to act as some kind of a common group.
Let's go to the library then.
We may wish to wait for our companion to rest. In fact, the offer is still on the table. If you would like to take a short nap, I will watch over the both of you.
Sure. Let's take a little rest.
I'm gonna cast Catnap
I love that spell.
on Merrick.
What? I don't know that spell.
It's as long as you're willing, you can sleep for 10 minutes and get the benefits of a short rest.
Oh shit.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Not fun. It's one creature, it's one target, right?
Up to 3, actually.
Oh, up to 3. Oh,
I mean, I guess I could cast it on a Lambeau as well, and she would get the benefits.
Yay!
Sounds like she wants that.
See, nice. I'm using all kinds of stuff that I never thought I'd use. Like I put expertise into my performance, and that paid off. And I took the Catnap spell.
Yes, that's right. That's what happens when you play with me. I ask for weird shit.
Hooray!
Hooray! Awesome. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, great. All right, so yes, you can absolutely cast Catnap. The two of you can take a short rest, so you can roll any hit dice you need. Any other features? Lambeau, do you get your Sork points back with a short rest? I don't remember.
I get the points back with a long rest, but I get the spell slots back with a short.
That seems backwards for a sorcerer. You sure?
I'm looking at it.
Okay, great. I believe you. Awesome. Okay, so what else needs to happen? You all do that. Zephyr, as they take their little 10-minute cat nap, you just sort of keep watch over them. And are you doing anything else during that 10 minutes?
Just trying to be on guard, making sure that nothing comes out of the other rooms, making sure that my companions are safe, watching them to make sure that they don't like wake up in some kind of a weird possession.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably, honestly, probably just playing on the viol.
Oh, I love that. Nice soft little melody to keep them energized while they sleep. I love that. Yeah, nothing happens. Nothing. There's no sound. You don't hear anything coming from outside the house. You don't... yeah, just nothing. Which, like, is fine. It's like better than the alternative, I suppose, but it becomes eerie, right? And it is dark in here, and you have dark vision, which is fine, but, like, it is eerie. The quiet and the dark and everything else. So, the 10 minutes end. You two have had your short rest. Good on your hit dice and everything, yeah?
Yep.
Great.
I subtracted.
Great. I trust y'all. It's fine. Cool. So what are we doing next?
Well, after assuming that it got re-explained to her what we're doing, because she was definitely asleep that whole time, she'll be like, all right, well, I guess the library it is. Let's all go together. And she will link arms with both of them.
Aww.
She knows how American is just an attempt to help usher them towards the library.
I have a bubble. You're in it. In fact, you're under it.
What? Oh. Sorry, that took me a minute. I don't know why.
Well, last time when I indicated I need help, you said I was on my own. I'm ensuring that is not the case now.
Perhaps
I'm
if we were
not
attached
on the-
by a length of string. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, that's fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
A
I was
length of
trying to think of a
string.
rebuttal.
Oh, of course you are. Oh, but it takes him too long, and the moment is lost.
Leave me alone. I'm being bullied.
All right. So over to the study you all head, somewhat unwillingly linked together in one manner or another. So you push open the door and you see this big ornate rug in the center of the floor, and the bookshelves that are full of books, and the 4 plush chairs on the walls, and the slightly sweet smell of tobacco smoke, of pipe smoke. Who's heading in?
Is the rug a bear?
No, this one's like a beautifully woven, intricate patterned rug. It actually sort of like, it's a little bit like eye-crossing if you try and like follow the pattern too closely, but it's like really intricate, bright, vibrant colors. Not garish, like tasteful, but very bright.
In a moment of impetuousness, Zephyr will go and dip his toe in the carpet, like when wondering if it's like quicksand or.
Great, I love it. What are you two doing while Zephyr?
And where did the door automatically close behind us when we all went in? Or
have
no?
you all gone into the room?
I'm assuming that we are, because Lambeau is also going in, and she has not unlinked with Merrick.
Great. So yes.
Against my will, I'm going in.
I love it. So the 3 of you are in the room, and yes, as soon as the 3rd of you enters into the room, the door slams shut and clicks behind you. Yes.
Okay. Because I want to make sure we don't get separated again. And like after entering, she will, now that we're locked in, she will unlock from Merrick. And while like you're poking, while Zephyr's poking it with his toe, Lambeau actually like gets down there on all fours and like speaks to the carpet. Do you want me to clean you, or is it okay if I step on you?
I love that so much.
What in the world? We're in
She
your
doesn't know.
room.
No, yeah. I mean, it's not gonna respond, but I love it. So.
Why are you speaking to a carpet? My room just had an imp and some weird candles.
Well, I was attacked by kitchenware, so I would like to be cautious.
As Zephyr, so this conversation is going as Zephyr walks over
Yes.
and pokes it with his toe. I love
and
that.
immediately falls in.
Immediately falls in and is never heard from again. No. All right. So you sort of poke your toe onto it, and at first nothing happens, and then you see one corner of the rug sort of curl up ever so slowly, and then it snaps in and tries to grab you, Zephyr. And I'm gonna have everybody roll initiative, please.
An
See,
animated
what did I say? This is why we ask permission.
Ooh, Zephyr. That's a 24 to hit you.
Yeah, that certainly
Okay,
hits.
it does get a little surprising, but let's get your initiative order in first. So, Lambeau.
+2, so it's 8.
Okay,
That's
8.
pretty
Let's go
good.
for the rug. Gets an 11, so not a ton better. How about you, Merrick?
I got a natural 20, so a 22.
And how about
Nice.
Lazarus?
Wait, oh, right.
Oh, I forgot. I was like,
Okay, that's fine.
Lazarus-
Zephyr, while you roll that, Zephyr, what'd you get?
I got 18.
18, all right.
Lazarus got a natural 1.
Okay. Lazarus. Okay. All right, so you all watch in horror and probably not a ton of surprise, to be honest, at this point, as the... Oh, I gotta change this music. We're not in the kids' room anymore. As the rug snaps up and bites at... not bites at, but curls up around Zephyr, and in fact, it does completely encircle him. It's just sort of like a Swiss roll, like it rolls up with Zephyr inside of it. Zephyr, you actually don't take any damage at the moment, but you are grappled by this rug, and you are in there, and you cannot breathe. It's squeezing you so tightly. You're also restrained and blinded while you're inside there. All right. That is that. Top of the initiative. Merrick, you are up first. You saw this just happen to Zephyr.
Merrick's kind of confused. Like, how do you attack a rug?
Very carefully.
So they're going to I guess they're just gonna summon an infestation of
Ew!
dust mites on the
Oh,
carpet.
That's hilarious and also awful. Is that a con save?
Yes.
Okay. Gross. Horrible. Disgusting. It's an 18.
It passes.
Okay. So the dust mites just, they don't want anything to do with this messed up animated rug. They're like, no thank you, we're good.
They jump on, they jump off.
Right. They,
Poof out of
they
existence.
like take a little bite out of your clothes as they poof out of existence.
Well, fuck you.
All right, so Zephyr, now you're going to take some damage because it's the start of your turn. This thing is squeezing you, and you take 12 points of bludgeoning damage as it squeezes you, but you can take your turn as normal.
So let's see. Would this be like a strength saving throw to get out of the grapple?
So to get out of the grapple, you can do either an athletics check or an acrobatics check.
I will attempt acrobatics.
That's it. It's a straight DC 14 to get out of this grapple.
Woohoo! I got a 16.
All right. So I need to check one quick thing. Make sure that I'm not wrong about this. Great. Okay. Yes. So you managed to wriggle out and make your way out of the rolled up carpet that has squeezed you in there. That does take your action, but you do sort of pop out. Excuse me. At one end of the rug. What else are you doing? If anything.
Was it an action to get out?
It was an action to escape the grapple. Yeah.
I will look at Lambeau and say, many thanks for your great deal of help, but I need it now more than ever. And I'll point to her and give her Bardic Inspiration.
I
Oh,
love it.
yay!
What is it at this level? 6 still?
D8.
D8. All right. All right. So Lambeau, you feel confident, ready to take on anything, and it's the rug's turn.
Yes. Oh, dang it!
I think the rug has a taste for Zephyr, I'm not gonna lie. He's the one that poked it, so it's gonna go after you again, Zeph. Let's see, it's gonna try and wrap itself around you again. It's a 16 to hit?
Yes.
All right, so Zephyr manages to get out, inspire you to help him, Lambeau, and then just gets Swiss rolled up all over again into this big old rug. And now it is your turn, Lambeau. Lazarus is on deck.
Okay, well, now it's a little more awkward because I know what she wants to do. Is there a way to only hit the carpet and not Zephyr with magic missile?
It's maybe Swiss roll isn't the best description. It's really more like a burrito. It's like really folded itself in on him. So odds are, I mean, make me an intelligence investigation check, we'll say.
Okay,
In
all
the
right.
moment. Let's see if you think this is possible.
All
or if
right,
it's
so
gonna
this
get
is
your friends.
+4.
All right, that ain't nothing.
10?
Maybe, but it probably not, but maybe. You're just not really sure how.
Okay. I can do something. Yes,
Yeah.
from. Okay. Since it is wrapped up and preventing my access to my ally,
Correct.
could I use knock?
Oh my god, I love that. Hold please. I want to read the spell, but like I want to read the spell because I want to make this work.
Yes.
Because that's fantastic.
I don't stretch
Let's
it.
see. Let's see. Choose the object. It's sort of a creature, but it's really an object that contains a mundane or magical means that prevents access. Target that is held shut. If it is stuck, if you choose. You know what? Let's do it. So
Yes.
yeah, because it's an animated constructy type thing that used to be an object, so I'll say it can be the target of the spell, and it is in fact preventing you access to something on the other side of it, so why the hell not? I love it.
Yes.
I'm gonna regret that in like 6 episodes when you break my game using knock because of this precedent, but right now I'm all about it.
Yeah, so she will do knock and basically kind of quickly yank Zephyr out.
I want to be really clear about the very first thing that popped into my head. Anytime you see a construct, you can't always use this, nor can you use it to gain access to like the vital organs of something.
No.
Just to be clear. All right.
Nope.
Yes, but you
Never
cast
came.
knock. What?
Let's open that ribcage.
Yeah. But yes, I love this. So you cast knock. There is loud. I bet that sounded really terrible through that mic. I apologize.
Right on my
everybody.
head.
Right on your head. It is so loud inside that rug. But the rug sort of springs open, sort of bounces you into the air, and frees you from it. I love that.
Yeah, and again, she just like dashes in to make sure to get some from thinner and like out, like boom.
I love it so much. Great, excellent. Anything else, Lambeau?
Nope.
Okay.
That was extra to move.
Yep,
That was
in
it.
and out. Yep. Lazarus is up. Merrick's on deck.
I forgot Lazarus had a turn, honestly.
Poor bird.
I know, right? Gets
There's
thrown
not
like a
much he can do.
baseball.
But like try to like perch on the
You could poop on it.
There you go.
Maybe that'll make it bad.
I have a bad precedent with having my familiars poop on things.
That sounds like a story for a behind the scenes episode of the show. I'll write that down for later.
So Lazarus is gonna like perch on like the edge of the thing and like
go on.
And like start like pulling out like the strings and stuff and start trying to like unravel it.
Okay, doing the help action, I assume.
Flavor.
Is what
Yeah,
doing.
it's just
Okay,
flavor.
Fantastic. I love it.
But for
Love the flavor. If you didn't figure that out already about me. All right, so Merrick, it is now your turn.
They're going to summon a dust devil
For heaven's
because
sake.
you fight the rug with a dirt devil.
I love it. All right, that's not a spell I'm the most familiar with. Does it make a dexterity save, maybe?
So
She does make a strength save.
Strength save.
strength save.
That's one I also have.
Whoops.
You're never allowed to use it because it's my thing.
You say to the Earth Genasi, okay.
Yeah, right? I was going to say, hold on.
First reason I
Stay
know
on the
it.
table.
All conjuration spells are
Man.
out of bounds.
That's a 22 to save?
What?
Oh, that'll probably do it.
Takes half as much damage.
Okay, so there you go. It still does a little something. So this big spinning dervish of dust and dirt gets conjured right in the center of the rug, and it manages to sort of resist it, but a little bit of like the weave of the beautiful design gets sort of yanked out and pulled out.
Takes 3 damage.
Oh, well, just a very little bit. 3. All right. Fantastic. Next up is Zephyr.
Alrighty, am I finally able to act?
You are, in fact, able to act. You were tossed
Woohoo.
out to the side of this thing. You're prone, but you're able to get up and take your turn as normal.
Well, shoot. I almost feel bad hurting this carpet, but let's see what I can do.
You're all just so precious, and I love you all for all different reasons. I love all of my children.
Let's see. I don't think there's much that I can do to avoid this, so we're gonna get our rapier out.
Yeah.
And with a bit of sadness, Zephyr is going to stab at the carpet.
All right. Let's see what happens. What's its AC? It's not great, I don't think. Yeah, all right.
15?
Oh, yeah. 15 absolutely hits it. So you stab your rapier right into the woven goodness of this rug. How much damage does it do?
8 damage.
8. That's more than 3, so it's getting better. All right, so you stab away and manage to also sort of cut through some of the threads, making up the design, doing 8 damage to it. Anything else, Zeph?
No, that's the extent. Oh, actually, no. I have not given upon my other companion, Merrick. Yeah. You may not be of the best moods right now, but let us see if we can improve it. Bardic Inspiration.
All right, I like that.
He gets a nice glow on their face.
Aw. And Zephyr, you are a lore bard, which means they can use this on attack rolls, skill checks, and saving throws?
I might have to check that.
Yeah, double check. I know not damage, because that's Valor bards, but check
Correct.
I feel like I maybe added a thing that you can't actually use it for there. We'll get back to it in a minute, because it is currently the rug's turn, so I'll check in with you about those details momentarily. The rug has a bird on it, and it's not very pleased that it has a bird on it, so it's going to try to eat the bird.
Oh, poor bird.
Don't eat my bird.
That's a 19 to eat the bird.
It eats the bird.
All right, so the bird now is wrapped up. It's a much smaller burrito this time. It's just sort of a little ball on the floor, and you can see the bird struggling on the inside. How many hit points does Lazarus have?
Let's look that up.
The answer's like 1 or 3.
It takes on the stats of the thing, so it's gonna be like on a raven or like a crow,
Right, that's why I think it's either like 1 or 3.
something
I
like
think
that.
Probably.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great. I'm excited about it.
Does it take damage on Lazarus' turn?
On its turn.
So I can poof it out of existence first.
You will not have a turn before then either.
Oh, I forgot. I don't go before him. I go at the very beginning. Okay, never mind. Well,
okay.
He's gonna die.
Okay. All right, but not yet. It isn't. Now we're on to Lambeau.
Huh. Oh, poor bird. I feel bad for it, but it is a familiar and can come back later.
That's right.
So we're gonna let's see. Are there any windows in this room?
That's a good question. Let me look. There are... No, not in this room. It is, in fact, the only room that you've seen so far. Oh, I guess the dining room didn't have windows either.
Gotcha. All right. In that case, poor Lazarus, I'm sorry. She's going to magic missile the carpet.
Yeah. Okay, this is important. How many hit points does Lazarus have?
I'm trying to figure it out,
Okay,
but I don't know where on D&D Beyond.
Just search for Raven.
D&D Beyond, is that service where you can create your D&D character?
Oh wait, okay,
All
hold
right.
up. I think I found it.
It has 1 hit point.
Damn it.
All right, go ahead and roll the is the first level magic missile, Lambo?
Oh no, it's 3.
Do the thing. All right, I love it.
Oh, they go hard, man.
That's right. Do it. 5 more. What color are they now that you have a little bit more presence of
Okay.
mind?
Now, because she's a little smug about being right, so they are orange.
Ooh, I
and
love
if I
that.
can add that little bit of flavor, they are all like, like the SWAT things that you use to clean carpets. They're all shaped like that.
You all are hilarious. Yes, absolutely they are. Yes, so out these orange carpet cleaners fly.
So plus 5 more is 14.
All right, 14 altogether. So you hear a very soft little and the little ball collapses in on itself as Lazarus goes bye-bye, leaving 13 damage remaining. Oops, for the rug to take. How many hit points does it have? Fantastic, more than that. All right, excellent. Well, bye, Lazarus. Merrick, you are up. Zephyr, you're on. Oh, anything else, Lambo? Sorry.
No, I'm pretty happy with my position.
Okay,
That's
so the rug is just sort of rolled up in one tiny little deflated spot in the center of the room. And Merrick, it is your turn. Zephyr, you're on deck.
Okay. Oh, so I did it wrong. They don't take damage until any creature that ends its turn within 5 feet of the Dust Devil must make a strength saving throw. So it's at the end of their turn.
Oh, okay. So on its turn, then it took that damage. That's
yeah. So it won't take the turn again. But I'm maintaining it this turn. I'm gonna cast a ray of sickness at it to see if I can make a rug sick.
Well, you gotta roll to hit first, I believe, on ray of sickness.
So your aim is for some sick rug burn? Is that what you're going for?
Oh.
21.
No, that's not a math pun. Was that 21 to hit, you said?
21.
Yeah, that hits.
2d.
Now it makes a con save, right?
I'm first to make a con save, but I also do damage.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was strength. My bad.
It is strength for the Dust Devil. This is for the
sorry. That's right. This is
the How's that damage looking?
9 damage. 9 poison damage.
All right. The damage doesn't... Poison damage, you say?
Yes.
It's weird. It doesn't look like it did anything.
I figured that much. And it's also considered poisoned, if that's a possibility for a rug.
It really doesn't seem like it did much.
Did it turn green at all?
It really didn't.
Okay.
It does, however, you're concentrating on the Dust Devil, so on its turn, it will at least have to make that save and take a bit of damage from that.
It was worth a shot.
So you saw it just sort of like this green ray of sickly energy just sort of splash off of the rug. Zephyr, it is your turn.
All right. So I think we are probably closer to defeating this rug than we were initially.
It certainly seems so.
Zephyr's still not super happy, but he's going to try and poke the rug once more with his rapier. Will a 12 hit?
A 12 does hit. It's not the most nimble of rugs.
For 8 damage once again.
Ooh, all right. So you cut some more of the threads. It's beginning to unravel at the edges, and every time it moves, more of the rug looks like it's unraveling throughout that process.
Zephyr says, "I'm very sorry. We didn't want it to come to this."
Well, you didn't. All right. It is the rug's turn. As the end of its turn or start of its turn that it does this roll?
End of its turn.
End of its turn. Okay. So in the meantime, well, Zephyr is right there after attacking it with his rapier. So guess it's time to see if we can eat Zephyr again. That is an 18 to hit Zephyr.
That's certainly a hit.
It takes a moment to uncurl itself from the Lazarus-less ball that it was in, and then it just sort of snaps back shut around Zephyr, and has him rolled up again in a Zephyr burrito. It is Lambeau's turn. Merrick, you're on deck. Oh,
Constitution throw.
Nope, strength save.
Oh, strength save. Thank you. That one.
Oh, that was less good. 13?
Does not make it.
All right, roll that damage.
And it also
gets pushed 10 feet?
Yes, push 10 feet away.
Okay, so you just feel yourself getting shoved, Zephyr, as this rug gets shoved over to one side of the room. What's the damage?
1.
What?
I'm helpful.
Ow!
And actually, that damage gets transferred to Lazarus anyway. Actually,
really?
No. Well, hold on. Okay, so a thing that I learned recently about 5th edition D&D is that unlike earlier editions, when you have damage, you always round down, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a minimum of 1. So we cut the 1 damage in half so that both Zephyr and the rug take half a point of damage, which we round down to 0 damage.
Woo!
I did it.
Okay with that.
Bird.
I went an entire round and dealt 0 damage.
And you had 2 tries. All
I
right.
did.
That was Merrick. Nope. That was That was the end of the rug's turn. Lambeau, it is your turn now.
Hey, yep,
Hey.
it sure is. He's in the rug again.
It sure is.
Uh,
Rug's not looking good, I will say.
okay, but the damage gets transferred to him.
Not all of it, but I suppose you don't really know that yet. But
Yeah, I don't. That's a kind of.
right.
Hmm. When the rug rolls somebody up, do they just concentrate on the person they have?
Yeah, it
Rolled
seems
up?
like because there was one round in which it was able to do something else, and it just didn't. It just stayed smothering its victim.
Gotcha. And it doing like the squeeze attack is not movement, correct?
No.
Okay. Really trying to pull something. That's not...
I know you are. It's just like you're just looking at you like, he's in again? I don't... Look! Look!
3 times.
I know.
I
know.
I do
a healthy
have
fear of
another.
rugs for the rest of his life.
I have another slot I could use for knock again.
You can do it 6 seconds of combat. What you doing, Lambeau?
Yeah, that's what she's gonna do. She thinks it's important to make sure we keep our Healy
Right.
person out, so she's gonna do that.
So that big knock rings through again, and once again you boink, spring out of the rug. Zephyr. All right, Merrick, it is your turn. Zephyr, you're on deck.
So what I'm doing isn't doing that much.
Oh, okay. I mean, we know, but go on.
Rude.
So I'm going to attempt a 3rd level witch bolt.
Ooh. Get big. All right, roll to hit.
And that's a 19 to hit.
That will do. So
So
that
it's-
is 3d12 lightning damage as once again this even thicker bolt of eldritch lightning fires out at this rug, this poor rug.
Total of 9 damage. We're moving up.
Okay. 9 on 3d. It doesn't matter. All right. Excellent. And the lightning stays connected as we move to Zephyr's turn. This rug it's burned, it's scorched, it's unraveling. It looks a mess.
And the dust devil does go away because I lost
it.
concentration on that.
Got it.
All right. I guess the only thing I really can do is attempt another escape with that with
Oh no,
acrobatics.
you're out. You got knocked out. Lambeau cast knock again and sprung you out.
Yeah, you're out.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yes. You can stand and do whatever.
You said I got knocked out. I'm like, I'm unconscious.
Oh, sorry. You got bounced out of the
You-
rug as
yeah,
it
sorry.
unfurled. Yeah.
You got knocked back into the fight. Yeah?
All right. I think I need to just continue on my course and
Yeah.
attack it once
All right.
more.
Do the thing.
And that's, I'm presuming, a hit for 6 damage.
All right. So you managed to find its little like the anchor piece of thread, and you cut it, and the rug just completely unravels and falls apart and is defeated. You hear a click, and the door slides open, or swings open, I suppose, and you have defeated it. And that is where we are going to stop for this week. We are just about up to our time. Awesome. Hey, that was fun. Thanks, everybody. Well done.
Yay.
Nobody died. I, planned this session to be for, well, originally 5 people and then 4 people, and there were 3 of you, so there was no guarantee that y'all were going to survive, and I didn't really know what would happen, but there it goes. You did very well. Thanks so much, and all of you viewers, thanks so much for hanging out. I had a blast. This was so fun and such a great game to kick off the Greyhawk Channel's spring season with. This was episode 1 of the Brenton Files Monsters and Myths. Thank you very, very, very much for hanging out. As we finish up, we're going to go around and let everybody know who you are, who who you played, where we can find you on social media if that is a thing you are interested in sharing, and also really quickly let us know what one of your favorite moments from today's episode was. So why don't we start? Can we start with Kyle?
Yes. So my name's Kyle. I'm at super_queero on Twitter. You can find me there as well as other places like the Prison Palace podcast and stuff like that. I play Merrick. My favorite part was my lack of usefulness.
That's so flavorful uselessness.
Flavorful
So I appreciate it.
being terrible.
I appreciate it. Let's go over to Alicia.
Hey, I'm Alicia on Twitter. I am NNG98. I'm a member of I do a couple of things. If you want to find out, follow me on there. I played Lambeau, and my favorite part was honestly the chase in the kitchen.
Yes, so good. So good, I love it. Last but not least, Ismail.
Yes. So I am at King Lorethorn or Elven Wizard King on Twitter, where I primarily reside. Also, the social media manager for the Tome Show. So if you ever shoot anything towards the Tome Show on Facebook or Twitter, I will probably see it. And only other thing I guess I'll mention is that I have some 5th edition products on Drive-Thru RPG under my name, Ismael Alvarez. Look also for Fat Goblin Games. That's primarily who I publish through.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Favorite moment from today?
Oh yes, favorite moment was actually like kind of the opening introductions because I thought we got a really good feel for exactly who everybody was.
Yeah,
Grumpiness and all.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm excited to sort of have, obviously we've got more to do here in this house before all is copacetic, but I'm excited to have Emily with us next week and hopefully a 5th player with us next week. And once we're all gathered together, we'll be able to sort of dive a little bit deeper into exactly who these folks all are. Once again, I am Eugenio, also known as your friendly neighborhood dungeon master, DM Jazzy Hands. You can follow me on Twitter at DM Jazzy Hands. I'm the dungeon master for the actual play podcast, The Last Refuge. You can follow us on Twitter at DND Last Refuge. We're about to hit our second anniversary next month, so we've got some giveaways coming up and we've got some other cool stuff, so check out our Twitter and our website, and we're hopefully going to be announcing the giveaway details in about a week or a week and a half. So once that's up, be sure and enter in our stuff. What else? You can find me on Fridays over at Encounter Roleplay playing Kaladin, a cleric of Rao in a game there run by our friend Kevin Hitt, who attempted to give us a nice bit donation at the top of the show, and we still thank him for that. You can find me on Sundays at Gratuitous RP running their game Half Rate Heroes. We had some of those folks watching at the beginning of the stream as well. And I'm actually also starting next week going to be playing in a game on Monday nights at Variant Roles. But honestly, you all should stick around here on Monday nights and watch Gnome's awesome game, The Grove Where We Met, I think is what it's called. So come back tonight at 8 and watch The Grove Where We Met with Gnome DMing, which is going to be awesome. I do want to quickly once again shout out to the sponsors for the Greyhawk channel, sponsors and supporters for the Greyhawk channel. Thank you so much to all of our patrons, to those of you who have also subscribed here to the channel. If you're able to do either of those things, we so appreciate it. Even if you're not, we appreciate your support just by being here and watching. That means the world to us, of course. We want to thank Roll20 for being one of our supporters. You can check out their service at roll20.net. Our battle maps are sponsored by Heroic Maps. You can check out their stuff on Drive-Thru RPG. Tabletop Loot, go to tabletoploot.com and use the coupon code Greyhawk to get 15% off of your order. And Devin Rue and Cantrip Candles, you can check out their stuff, rueinc.com, cantripcandles.com, and our Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers get exclusive coupon codes through our Discord for both of those services. That is, I think, all I've got for us today. You all, thank you so much for joining us. Please do come back next Monday, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, for episode 2 of the Brenton Files. We will continue to make our way through this house, introduce 1 or 2 new characters, and see where we go from here. Am I forgetting anything? Do I need to say anything else? Follow us on Twitter, messages, send us cool things throughout the week. I had a blast. Thank you all for watching. Thank the three of you for playing. I am taking a quick look at what is currently on right now, and I'm going to, if anybody is interested and has time to spare, I'm going to send us over to Raid Scraticus, because they look like a channel that's going on playing some RPGs right now, and looks like they could use a few more viewers, so I'm going to send us over there. If you can continue to hang out, awesome. Say hi to them when we get over there. Otherwise, no worries. We'll see you hopefully tonight for The Grove Where We Met, and definitely next week for episode 2 of the Brenton Files. I don't really know how Twitch works, so I'm trying to figure out how to do this Scraticus thing. Here we go. Okay, let's go over there. Here we go. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Oh, we're lovely.
Please stay hydrated.
Oh, we got 8 seconds before we raid. I don't really know how any of this works. Bye. Happy gaming,
Bye.
y'all. 3,
Bye,
2.
Thank you all.
Say hi to Scrat for us. 1. Bye.
Pretty there.
I think that
There we
worked.
go.
I don't really know. Did it work?
Yeah, it switched over.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You did it!
I
Yay!
did it. I should stop streaming here.